Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that?
All right, Joseph, it's December 7th, soon to be December 8th.
Yeah.
Is it December 8th by you already? I don't even know. Recording this at 10:21 Mountain Time.
Yeah, I'm going to be hitting December 8th in 39 minutes.
Wow.
I will
celebrating December 8th pre-New Year's.
Well, we celebrate Pearl Harbor Day all December 7th. And so
what do you do on that day?
We all the traditional activities.
Oh God,
we watch Pearl Harbor starring Ben Affleck and Sandra Bullock. That's one of the activities.
Bullock was not in Pearl Harbor.
Who was that? Who was?
I don't know. I know John Voight played like Franklin Roosevelt, and I only saw like 5 minutes of that movie. But like, I remember seeing a part when like Franklin Roosevelt is so angry with what happened with Pearl Harbor, he physically stood up on his own because he was so angry, and I was like, I don't think that happened because he had like, what did he have, like polio or some debilitating
think so.
Disease?
We don't really question the historical accuracy of the film on Pearl Harbor Day.
That's true. That's part of it. You're not allowed to question anything.
And then the other big activity,
Michael Bay movies, which is
the other big activity we do, because you think Michael Bay and Attenborough are the two kind of lions of that.
That's it. Yeah.
And then we also watch, there's one particular episode, it's in the last season of Hee Haw, in which Minnie Pearl and David Harbour share a scene together, a young David Harbour. And so it's just
David Harbour, the guy from Stranger Things.
Yeah. And so it's Minnie Pearl, David Harbour. It's a Pearl Harbor moment. Is what we.
Did you work on that one for like
no, that just
like a week?
That just came to me.
David Harbour. I don't even know if David Harbour was alive yet when they filmed that.
I doubt it.
Baby Stephen Harbour.
Yeah. So anyway, those are the big activities.
That's that took me a minute to process. Genius. Pure genius right
there. Yeah. So anyway,
that flew over my head just like the Japanese did to us on Pearl Harbor.
Right. Oh, it's weird. I was doing some driving over the last week or so, and I listened to a podcast called The Bomb, which was about the making of the atomic bomb, and it was really good. It was like a very good podcast. I mean, the one of the big parts of it was about Pearl Harbor and like the decisions it made to go in. So yeah.
What I like the most about Pearl Harbor is that well, actually
there's so many things, but yeah,
what I like the most about Pearl Harbor one, the family gets together.
Yep. Yeah.
Share our Pearl Harbor stories.
Mm-hmm.
When the end of the day, where the elder in the family says, "This day will live in infamy."
Right. And
John Voight shows up dressed up as Franklin Roosevelt and historically stands up, just like Franklin Roosevelt would.
Yeah.
No aid whatsoever.
Does he pretend to pass away after supper and then a new like Truman reenactment guy comes in at the end?
Yeah, well, what's his face played Truman in a movie once, so Gary Sinise shows up.
Nice.
As Truman.
Yeah.
You know what ruined Pearl Harbor Day? 9/11.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, they're like 9/11 was like, hold my beer.
Right, it was. I can't even get enjoyment out of my Pearl Harbor themed cornhole game anymore, in which I throw bean bags shaped like airplanes onto a cornhole deck.
Very tasteful.
Yes.
Very tasteful.
It's just been overshadowed by all the 9/11 events, but
like stupid 9/11 comes along and just ruins it. You know what else? Like I consider like 9/11 is AI.
Yes, right, yes.
When it comes to art, like not, it's like artists are Pearl Harbor Day, the 9/11's AI.
Yeah. Well, that
What's
was
going on here?
oddly enough one of our
What a
that was
segue. What a
our
segue.
that was our first topic that we are going to discuss. Let me run through them real quick. We don't have well, we got a decent one. We're going to talk about AI art. We were going to talk about a few shows we've been watching. Wednesday, the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special and Andor. We're going to talk about Senator Warnock's big victory in
Against
Georgia
the Dracula or werewolf walker, whoever it is.
against a quasi sentient geranium.
Yep.
And we're talking about the terrorist attack in Moore County. Most,
Yep. Domestic terrorist
yeah,
attack.
most people believe it's a terrorist attack, a domestic terrorist attack,
It's because
and
it probably
because it
most
probably
likely
is.
is.
And then we were going to finish by talking about Kanye West and Twitter separately, but they pair well together.
Yeah, they're kind of like buddies or whatever. I don't know if they're buddies anymore because
Yeah,
what's his face got his account suspended.
it's like a Civil War LARPing and a Piggly Wiggly. They're not necessarily related, but they seem to occur in the same vicinity.
they yeah, they go together. It's the Reese's peanut butter of
Exactly. Yeah.
well, real quick before I forget, because I feel like I'm gonna forget, Kanye did get suspended from Twitter. And if anyone thinks that Elon Musk suspended him because of the Nazi and anti-Semitic stuff,
No.
I guarantee you that's not the case because he immediately let on Andrew Anglin, or I think that's his
Yeah.
name, guy who basically runs Stormfront or
Yep.
used to. That guy's a literal Nazi.
It's brutal.
Kanye's a clown, but this guy is the real deal. The real reason why Elon Musk kicked Kanye off is because Kanye started posting pictures of Elon Musk with no shirt.
Yeah.
And that's when he immediately got suspended.
Right. That was kind of hilarious. I don't want to give Kanye any credit there, but
no, I don't want to give Elon Musk any credit for suspending him
yeah,
because
yeah.
the reality is that why would you can't claim that you suspended him for being a Nazi and then let this guy back
Right.
on
Yeah.
a like pig Nazi.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like true dirtbag Nazi. Like, yeah, all right. Well, we have a decent amount to talk about.
Yeah.
I figure we talk about AI art first.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I don't know. Are you aware of it at all? Do you know anything about it?
Yes. Yeah. I've been following it. There's that, what is it? GPS chat is kind of, it's not AI art, but there's been a few developments in AI lately. I've kind of followed them. And AI art is one of those developments.
So like a lot of it, like a little earlier in the year, there was this thing called like Dolly or Dolly 2, whatever, and people were like
Oh,
posting. And those things were like fun. They were like really shitty though. Like
they were, I messed around with that. They were fun because they were bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're, you were able to make like these really bizarre things. But within like a couple of months, this thing, and I knew this would happen. I knew this was gonna happen. A couple of months, this shit has gotten like really good at what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And there are people trying to pass this shit off as if it's their creation or their art. Now, there's some people that are better at it. Like there's this one guy I always see his stuff on Instagram. He is an actual artist though. He does actually draw and paint, but he has like this fake like TV show, like these images of like, and he makes it look like a Western from like another dimension. It looks like hell. A lot of this AI stuff looks like it's from hell. And that one's kind of cool because at least it's like, he's an actual artist. But
Right.
then the problem is that I've seen a lot of other people doing these like fake TV shows that never existed, images like they look like stills from an old show, like maybe like you would look like in a ViewMaster when you were
Yeah.
younger.
Yeah.
It looks like that. And then it's like, okay, this is cool. But then I saw these other guys doing it, like again, like another concept, like this is from a show or this is from a thing, and it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
It looks the same. And then the joke is the other day I posted an image from They Live when everyone's at the bar. It's like in the end of the movie when people start to see the aliens because the signal was destroyed by Roddy Piper. spoilers for They Live.
Right.
But check out our episode of They Live. We
That's
recorded
a
it like
great
three
one.
years ago. One of the good ones. We talked
Hmm.
about Alex Jones in that one too.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out the They Live. Let's go deep into our episodes, probably around like 20,
Jeez.
20 maybe. I don't know. It's
Yeah, it was
definitely
an
more
early
in the,
one.
it's below 50. I know that. Um, I said idiots are gonna think this is AI.
Yeah.
They're gonna think it's an AI image of like they're like people are not gonna be able to tell like what the fuck is like real anymore. And the other thing that really pissed me off about it was um and like I said, I'm not like I knew this would happen. Like I was watching Screen Crush. I like to check out
Hmm.
their YouTube show. They do like like 50 Easter eggs and Wednesday Addams or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
stuff you might miss. And it's done really well. And he's got like a little dog that talks. It's super cute. And but like in the episode, he always has ads for something. And one of the ads was for like do pet portraits. And it's a little company that literally just has you just type shit in and it's basically AI generated art. And
Wow.
I was like, yeah, fucking kidding me. Now I'm not like worried. I do pet portraits. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not like a main thing, but it is one of the a lot of the commissions I do is pet
Yeah.
portraits of portrait people, and I do stuff that's like all monstered up. The AI stuff kind of does that, which drives me nuts. But this one pissed me off because it's like I knew this would happen. I
Yeah.
knew this. People like fucking around. They're like, "Oh no, no big deal." Bullshit. I knew this would happen. First of all, I don't know what they charge. It's probably nothing. People are not going to pay. The people who would do that are not going to pay me to make them art.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I don't think I lost any customers. I think like if you're willing to pay an artist a premium price, that's you're the kind of person that'll do that, and the kind of person that will want some shitty art that they can get off the internet cheap.
Yeah.
That's
That's
just
what I
not
was gonna
happening.
say. Is that I think that
So that
it's
doesn't
not.
make it right.
Oh yeah, it's not AI art, but like you can. Oh, it's like if you go into like a rooms to go furniture outlet and buy paintings of landscapes, is that really like significantly different than AI art? I mean, I know some guy probably created the art and then licensed it to be reproduced and everything, but like there it seems to be some gray line between art and like art with a capital
Well,
A
the
and
problem
regular
is it's
art.
not art because it's like basically you have somebody plugging in prompts.
Yeah.
Some people are better at it than others, but like
There's a big
you have to first of all, AI is pulling images from all the internet and creating it. It's stealing
yeah.
existing art.
Well, that's
It's
the other thing
stealing
is it doesn't
existing images and it's stealing. It's not, and you got all these idiots that are trying to like. They're like, oh, look, this one guy left a comment just now. Like, all right, so I posted a thing basically saying like AI art. Did you see it? Did you see what I sent? I think I sent it to
yeah,
you.
yeah, you did. Yeah.
It was AI art is shit.
Yeah.
And the word shit is literally made out of shit. Let me tell you, that was not easy for me to do. I had to like really try to aim on aim.
yeah.
And I did have some selected pieces of corn in there. It was tough.
Oh,
No, I used my skills as an artist to make that shit, literally. And like I love these like this guy's trying to say like uh this guy's like, oh, it's a tool for artists to use. I'm like, it's not a tool.
yeah.
It's
It's
not,
not.
it's not Photoshop, it's not Illustrator, it's not like
There,
you
there might
it's
be an
not a,
artist who can use AI programs to create original art. Like I couldn't say if that's possible or not. If you had told me like what Andy Warhol was doing before
I will
he did it,
say the comparison to Andy Warhol, I like people are like, you guys are Luddite. Like I had this one asshole call me a Luddite. I was like, get the fuck out of here. This is not no, fuck that. Like, first of all, like it took me years to use Photoshop. It took me years to use Illustrator. Like, those are
but only
programs.
and
Any of those type of
only
hand drawing programs require skill and years of mastering and technique and understanding design and creativity and color theory This
Well,
is
and
just
only Andy
fucking
Warhol could do Andy Warhol. I mean, like
yeah,
the point was that
and all the people who worked for him.
well, yeah, but the point was that like
Why it's called the factory.
it was him. Like I could, like
And it
I
doesn't
could,
matter because like
yeah,
it's screen printing, it's existing art, it's tangible. This is like the AI to me, this situation is the perverted evolution of NFTs. What I knew was going to
yeah,
happen.
yeah. Pooh.
Okay, same people that are like I posted that, and most sensible people agree with me. A lot of people that are saying waving insults or trying to like whatever. These are I look there. I'm like I always like I'm like all right. Let me see what this person looks like. See if they're even
Yeah,
like if they're not like a bot or something. And they're like they tend to be young and they're just naive and they're assholes. They're just
yeah,
assholes. Like they don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But like, I'm sorry, no, it's not a Luddite. Like, I'm not denying the existence of computers. This is a like to me, I'm not worried about this as much. Like, I think the people that are gonna be affected the most by AI are younger people who are
yeah,
trying to make it into the field. This is an attack on labor. This is
yeah,
an attack on labor. Idiots going along with it don't realize that like company, if they decide like, oh, the AI stuff's good enough, we don't need to pay artists anymore. All we need to do is just pay like some, equivalent of what fast food workers or something, punching in
mm,
numbers into a thing and letting the machines create it.
yeah. That could be,
Um, if the quality is good enough, and like a t-shirt company could print it, they'll do it. They'll they'll do it in a heartbeat.
Mm.
And I don't. I think that who it's going to hurt the most is fantasy painters, like artists, like
Yeah,
fantasy artists, because a lot of this stuff I've noticed with AI, it's that like digital painting. It's like it's like that like ZBrush and all those type of
yeah,
programs.
yeah,
Like it's basically stealing people's art from that stuff because it's gonna hurt concept artists. It's gonna hurt storyboard artists.
mm,
It's gonna hurt character designers. Like it's gonna hurt anything to do with concept building. It's gonna and who knows where it goes from there.
yeah.
It's
It's true.
not good. There's no. I'm not like again. This isn't some guy like angry old man yelling at cloud. I'm not even gonna respond to that guy. Like someone left that on me. Like haha yeah that's really funny.
Mm,
Uh yeah I'm Grandpa Simpson. Get the fuck out of here. This is like this is to me I see this as just it's just not good for
yeah,
people artists to make a living now. They'll say things like well computers came along and they said the same thing back then. I'm like no, I will say the industries where it killed people in the industry the most was typesetters was a very important job and it was very painstakingly done.
oh yeah,
If you ever seen a typesetting machine, it is insane. There's a lot of work put into it. Then like computer programs like Quark came along and all that and just changed the game. But man, let me tell you, you see the difference. People don't know they don't give a shit about letting and kerning of words, and
yeah.
stuff
Mm,
looks like ass. There was a period of time because people were like, "Oh, I can just whip this out," because this is like we live in a capitalist country, and people are just going to see this as like, "Ooh, this will be cheaper to do, and we could get more product out there."
yeah,
But I'll say this: AI, like a lot of this shit, looks the same. All the AI stuff, like I said, that one guy who's good at it because he's an actual artist but then these other people are doing it, and it kind of looks the same. Kind of looks the same. Like I'm not saying like we'll see what happens, but I just don't want to hear this bullshit telling me that like this is a tool or an
yeah, oh,
AI
yeah, yeah,
artist. That's not a thing. There's no such thing as an AI artist. As an artist, like I could see this. If you need references, right? Let's say I'm trying to draw something or want to do
yeah, yeah.
something, and you use the AI as an ability to build it as like as if it's a sketch.
Oh, I see.
You
Yeah,
work off of that, like you draw separately or repaint it or work with that image and
right.
modify it, make it right. I get that. That's I'm not,
Sure.
I'm like, I don't care about that. If you're using it as like an element or part of the way to get it, but if like what I'm more concerned about AI is companies
Yeah, yeah.
shitting over artists. And I don't think any of these idiots got what I was saying. Like some of the, like I said, a lot of the people agreed with me, and there were a lot of people who understood what I was saying, but there was some that like it just went, they had no idea. They're just either throwing insults at me or they just don't get where I'm coming from. This one guy, my favorite, was something like, "You're telling me I have to like painstakingly learn how to journal this when this is here?" I'm like, "Yeah, asshole, you do. Like, the
Yeah.
fuck out of here. Like, you lazy piece of shit. Like, the fuck? Like, it's so insulting. It's like, what? I need to go to medical school to be a doctor? I need to go to,
Yeah.
like, the fuck out. Like, this is, and that's another thing, too, is that it's like the whole automation thing. It's like, you're just going to automate people out of existence to
Well,
the point.
that's
Go ahead, what?
yeah. There's a debate in that amongst educators because AI is actually really good at producing essays now. So you can say to an AI, machine or whatnot, "Hey, write me an essay about color symbolism in The Great Gatsby," and then the AI will crank out an essay, that seemingly does the trick. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, and my comment to that when people were talking about that is then the teachers they got to build different tests or different quizzes. You got to figure out a different way to evaluate if a kid knows it or not. Maybe you have the kid give an oral presentation or something like that instead of just
Yeah.
letting them. I mean, there's ways around it, but like it's stupid to just say, well, we can't do anything. You can, and with art, it might be a little different, but like I've always thought
But
that.
people with good eye know, like, this, you didn't make this shit. Like, I've had
Well,
people steal my work and use it in their colleges. Like, I've
yeah,
had people do that. Like, they go online, and it's not just me that do it to other people. As one guy said, yeah, they're probably using your work, and I said, yeah, it's possible. I mean, it's
yeah,
all they have to do is they could do a prompt and just say Rob Israel art. There's my name's attached to enough art on the
true,
internet that would pull up, and someone can just rip
yeah.
me off or make some weird perverted version of my artwork.
Take
And I'm
pieces of it, yeah.
yeah, and
Mm.
like I've had people rip me off for years. I've had Chinese companies sell my artwork
Sure.
on like Alibaba, like head shops selling my work. There's like nothing I could do about it. All I was able to do was find out the company and shame them on the internet. That's it. So
Yeah.
yeah, people like go get a lawyer. I'm like, okay, get me a lawyer. Like, I think a lawyer gives a shit. Like,
It's a
oh
little more
no,
complicated,
head
yeah.
shop selling like 5 rolling trays with artwork they got from China that they're trying to sell for like $30 each or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's
come
not
on
going to be
now.
a priority.
Yeah, like now if Walmart did it, I could probably get a lawyer.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But the problem is, so I used to work in t-shirt companies, and I know for a fact they're doing the AI shit. And people, this kind of like is this argument kind of goes with the whole like I was thinking about Napster. And
Yeah.
I was talking to my son about it because he's like a huge Metallica fan and everything, and he knows all about that stuff. And I said that like, at the time, like Metallica and all these other bigger bands, they were considered like the enemy.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
Napster comes along, and it's like, of course, people want to download free shit. Like, who doesn't want to be like, wait, I have the ability, if I just have the time going, I could just like download whatever song I want and burn a CD from it
Yeah.
and not pay for it. Like, I don't want the full album. I can just get this one song or these songs here. I mean, like maybe Lars and Metallica weren't the right advocates for it. Maybe, because they're already like super rich or perceived to be rich.
Yeah.
But looking back at it, they were 100% right. I mean, it
Yeah.
killed the music industry completely. It's not,
Yeah.
you had to like really change how you sold music, and not because, oh, this changes things. No, it's because like people are taking your fucking art now and for free, and you have to figure out how to make a living now. Because that guy who created Napster proved to be like, wasn't he
Oh,
like a
yeah.
total piece of shit? That guy.
If I remember right, yeah, he had some scandals about him. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they're all a slightly different thing. But
But
yeah,
it, I'm saying though is like it's all to me. It's like the similar thing of just like the internet comes along, creates these things. Of course, people don't want free shit. So
Yeah.
Instagram comes along and people post art on it.
Hmm.
People use it as a promotional tool. But the joke is now the AI gets its information from there, right?
Yeah.
AI can get it from Instagram, Pinterest, all those things. So we put it on there to promote ourselves. It's not like we're not giving you free
Right.
content. We're saying, hey, look what I can do. Maybe you want to buy my stickers or
Yeah.
prints or
Yeah.
commission artwork. That's what we want it to be. But then I've had people again steal my work. I find people making stickers. It's just
Yeah.
what happens when you put it out there. And some people will say, "Oh, you have a large following. That's another reason." And I'll say, "Yeah, but like honestly, you could have just like 1,000 followers, and it could still happen to you." If
Oh
somebody,
yeah.
that's why it's always was important. Instagram, I always said like it's important to tag and credit people when you repost their
Yeah.
work because of shit like this. Because of
Mm.
shit like this. And the AI thing to me is just lazy. Like I said, I knew it was the same kind of people that pump this shit are the same ones who were like pushing NFTs.
Yeah.
Now, again, I don't. My issue with NFTs always was, well, one, I thought they were stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're stupid. I don't like them. That's just my opinion. But my main reason why I didn't like NFTs was the crypto component of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I felt like it was a bunch of scam artists forcing creatives to use a shit coin or coins and put their money into it, and the cool art they make helps prop up the coin.
Yeah. For sure.
So it really kind of like the artist is working for free in a way. Because I saw one guy left a great comment on my thing. He said, I got into the NFT shit, made some money, and he's like, and I never got a dime out of it because he was never able to figure out how to get the money out of it. The money became worthless over time.
Yeah.
That was my issue with the NFTs. If the NFTs did not involve crypto, I probably would have done it. I probably
Yeah.
would have, or at least would have participated in it. But because of the crypto element, I refused to do it, or I lost interest in it. The AI thing, though, to me, it's just a continuation of that. It's just like there was a great meme. I don't know if you saw it. I took it from this guy Fuzzfang I follow,
Hmm.
and he posted it was Mo kicking Barney out the door, and it says artist, and Barney is the NFT. And then as he's doing that, Barney shows up behind Mo again, and it says AI. like, like we got rid of the
Nice.
NFTs. Now here comes AI.
Yeah.
Um, it's like I said, I don't care if people use it, they want to have fun with it. My issue with it is companies are going to abuse it. And
Yeah.
I think we are entering this is like 2021 again, kind of like how NFTs came along and everyone kind of jumped on that.
Hmm.
I think you're going to see a lot of people jump on this, and 2023 is going to be the year of the lawsuit. There's
Yeah.
going to be
Could be.
tons and tons of lawsuits.
Mm.
Um, Yeah, that's it. I
Yeah.
mean, like once fucking WB and Disney and them start hawking AI shit, ain't good.
Yeah. It is. I
I'm
mean,
not
there's.
gonna deny this stuff doesn't look cool. It looks cool because it's using resources of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at this stuff. It's so cool. Yeah, it's cool because it's using other people's
Right.
coolness.
It's
That
yeah.
doesn't like Andy Warhol took a soup can
Right.
and made it look cool. Not the Campbell's didn't do that.
Well, Andy Warhol was a pioneer too. I mean, there might be one or two people that do something new and unique using AI art, but I don't know, maybe not. And it's not going to be everyone, I mean, I don't know.
Just
It's
because
depressing.
a few people might benefit from it doesn't mean it's good for the industry.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's it. Is all of those things seem to benefit a very few people while leaving even more people out.
I
So
just think again, it's like younger people are realizing they think it's cool, and it's just going to be like like it's actually going to be, it's going to hurt them.
Mm.
It's like I hate, like it sounds again like the old
Yeah, yeah,
man complaining, but it's true. There is some things have to be done on their own.
yeah, yeah. I think that's. I mean, I think most people, if pressed, would agree to that.
You know, people are like talking about like, oh, it's soulless and all that. I said, yeah, I mean, I get that part. I agree, but to the average normie consumer, they ain't gonna
Yeah,
notice
they
the
don't
difference.
care.
They don't care. They don't
Mm.
give a shit. They don't care. And the work, but the thing we have to be more concerned about is you want to make sure the people that are keeping it at bay understand like
Yeah,
quality, understand like I just think there's gonna be a shit ton of lawsuits because of this.
yeah,
I would go after all those companies because those companies are stealing the
yeah.
images.
Sure.
Like, I'm sorry, it's not a tool like Photoshop. It's
Mm.
not. You have to be able to know how to use Photoshop. Photoshop to me is just like another brush. You have to master it. This is not the same thing. I had this one idiot say it's a tool. No, it's not. It's not a tool. I mean,
You wouldn't. I would say it's a tool. I mean, like maybe I'm like not
okay,
understanding the
I don't know
example.
if I'm using the right term. Uh, Photoshop requires lots of work to be able to pull off whatever AI is doing, and the person actually has to have ability and talent, understand, probably knows how to draw really well, paint really well, understand color theory really
Mm.
well.
All right. Yeah, yeah,
This is not, like I said, I don't if an artist wants to use it as like some kind of like referencing, I don't care about that. My issues
right.
is like storyboard artists. Like that might be the end of storyboards right there. I mean,
Could be. I mean, like you don't
if
need
you're, I
interesting
mean, think about it. If
image.
you're like a director and you're an indie filmmaker,
Yeah,
and you're like, I just need to, I need some scenes. But you
yeah,
know what? You know what? That's not good. I'll give a great example. One of the George Lucas,
yeah.
fucking what's his face? The guy did all the concept art, all those famous paintings. What's his name?
Um, gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Um,
Star Wars concept artist. Ralph McQuarrie,
oh, okay, yeah,
died in
yeah,
2012.
right.
Yeah, all those paintings, 90% of that shit came from him.
Hmm.
Almost everything, if you look at his stuff, most of the stuff from Star Wars, it's like, Lucas gets all the credit. McQuarrie should get like the lion's share
Yeah.
of like the vision.
Oh,
Like, I mean, you look at his stuff, there's like obviously been lots of changes overall, but like then there isn't.
mm.
Like the Tuscan Raiders are exactly the way they look in the movie. Like,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I mean, people are going to they're going to jump on it, the AI thing. They're all going to jump on it. They're going to try to use it as the way, and they're going to learn the hard way that like it was the people all along.
well,
It's true though. I mean, it's like any other thing. These companies are good. There's gonna be some shit companies that are gonna like, oh, we don't need to hire artists anymore. We can
yeah.
lose a couple artists and use AI as a cudgel.
Supplemental thing. Yeah, doing backgrounds and everything.
I don't even think that. I think that they'll just think they can get away with it using it for everything.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know where all that's going. I know I don't like it. Um,
Like I said, understand why they're cool to look at, but you know,
yeah. I mean, you could think something's kind of cool and novel without wanting it to be a regular part of your life. I don't
yeah,
know.
like I said, I brought the Napster thing as an example because there is a lot of truth to that. Like, I
Sure.
mean, that was a long time ago. The joke is, in the end of the day, really what it came along is Napster came and ripped people off, and then it perverted things, and
Oh,
it
okay.
make companies like Spotify come
Yeah.
along, be like, yeah, we pay you guys like a half a like what do they pay them like a half a cent for every 1,000 songs
Probably, yeah.
downloaded or something. Like that's the joke. It's
Mm.
like yeah, like look, we pay the people now. Um, my favorite interview. I mean, he's such a scuzzball, this
Mhm.
guy, but he's 100% right. Gene Simmons. This
Oh,
was an
okay, yeah.
interview from like probably like 20, I don't even know. This was like on the Henry Rollins show on IFC when he had a show
Oh,
years ago. So
geez, yeah,
definitely
but
like 15 years ago. And
yeah,
he's being interviewed and he's talking about like, he was rich already. He was gonna be
yeah,
fine no
yeah,
matter what. He brings up a good point. Says when he talked about Napster, he said, "Congrats, you did away with your ability to make money.
yeah.
Congrats." Like Napster comes along and
Kills
uh
the goose that lays the golden egg.
yeah, he's like, he wasn't even talking about himself. He was talking about like artists in general. Like, Gene Simmons, I don't think came
Yeah,
from money. I think he made his own money. I mean, I could look it up,
right,
but
right.
regardless, even if he did, he dressed up like a space clown and put out, was able to make a brand
Mm-hmm.
and profit off of it. But it had to start somewhere.
Yeah,
And he brought up a good point in saying, like, you basically killed your chance of basically being me.
yeah.
I
Hmm.
mean, again, there's ways of. I think obviously was being a little extreme, but there is some,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
something right about that. You
Hmm.
know, like if people can just download your shit for free, like, hey, Drew,
That is pretty scary. Yeah.
we're just promoting you. So
Well,
I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because I'm just an old man,
we're yelling at a cloud.
just an old man yelling at the cloud.
I don't know. I think that we
Till
may
they're old men yelling at clouds.
I think we may see a tapping of the brakes on that AI stuff. I'm not
It
sure,
has
but
evolved like a lot.
yeah,
Like, I don't think people realize that. Like this shit, like they say they've been working on this for a decade now or something like that. But this
yeah,
has like, if you saw the Dolly stuff, Dolly engine, stuff like that, and people are like, you do realize you're like feeding it.
yeah.
So when you give it more, the prompts are just feeding it. It's like,
Oh,
making me stronger.
hmm.
Like, it's like, thanks for all your ideas.
Right,
That's like Amazon efficiency. The joke is the workers and stuff, they have to like use it. And basically the algorithms just figure out how to do it quicker to the
right.
point
Yeah,
where it's just gonna be fucking robots doing it all. And of course, you get these idiots who'll say like, oh, we'll get another job or we'll just have UBI. It's
yeah.
like, yeah, sure we will, buddy. You think it's that fucking simple? Like
Most of
people
them are
think,
doing it at 11 a.m. on a weekday too.
what?
Like most of them are commenting like that on a weekday at 11 a.m. Like they don't have anything going either.
I just think it's ridiculous. Like, people, I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever. All right.
Well,
Move on to another thing. We'll see where it goes. Like I said, I put in my statement about it, and I said straight up, ARR is shit, and I mean it for many reasons. It's not because of the actual images.
yeah.
Well, that can't it can't. People are making jokes saying like it doesn't know how to make hands or feet, and it's like, give it a month.
Yeah, it will. It'll
Yeah,
learn.
give it a month. It will. Like, it'll figure it out to the point where.
Mm, yeah. Well, we were going to move on to T. I was just double checking to make sure none of these were put out by AI, and I think
One
we're
day you're
good.
just gonna wake up and you're gonna realize you were in a tube the entire time.
Yeah, right. Like like the Matrix. Like
Oh wait, the what? What is that?
yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
we will see. We will see about AI. I was glancing at the TV shows we're about to talk about to make sure there was no heavy use of CGI. Although I'm sure there's some.
Well,
Um,
CGI is different. That still requires like thousands of human hours working on that.
yeah, oh yeah, but you could AI it. If it's producible and transmittable into zeros and ones, you can AI it. So
Have they? I don't know if they've done any AI animations yet.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the animation itself has to be sequenced, so
I mean, part of the the funny thing about capitalism and producing things trying to produce things on the cheap and trying to make it that you don't have to hire less
yeah,
people, is that you still need people to have the ability to make money so they could buy your product.
yeah, yeah. There's that.
there's that little problem we have, when companies are like, well, we'll just lay off like 10,000 of our employees. Well, it's like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
that's probably 10,000 people are not going to be buying your product anymore.
Right. Yeah. They'll aggressively not purchase it.
Yeah. Well, that besides the fact that they'll be pissed or
Yeah.
whatever, but usually these companies own so many products that you wouldn't even know they produce it.
Right.
But what? Fuck, I hate that.
Yeah.
Ford and what was his thing? The whole making sure like an employee could afford the actual car they were making.
Yeah.
He said that while he was writing letters to Hitler. Just
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of
let's not
odd
forget that.
messaging.
But oh, but did you see? Okay, real quick before we move on, things. Did you see the thing? And we might have talked about this. Fuck, what's his name? Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Speaking of AI, Jeff Bezos, like laid off, like I don't know, it was like 10,000 people or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then that morning they did like some quick PR thing where did some interview and he claimed he was going to give away all his money. And it was such like, but he didn't say when or how, where it would go. We talked about this actually because I think I brought up Dolly Parton. I said like, what is she like a money laundering scheme?
Yeah.
But, it's like I have an idea. How about you had all this money? Why don't you just keep the employees?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I find it weird that the guy, like, why would anyone believe that he would give his money away? Like,
yeah, it's just so nonsensical.
Like, this is the guy who lays off people on a whim. Like,
yeah,
why would anyone believe that you would donate the money and where would it even go? So, all right, let's move on to something fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick something miserable.
Well,
to talk about.
The next thing we were going to talk about is a couple shows that we have been watching or have started to watch, and they were the show Wednesday, which is kind of a reboot of the Wednesday Addams character. Although it seems like it was a little while ago, we haven't spoken since we talked about Andor, the conclusion of Andor, and just the notion of like, is it cool to
what?
Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought there. We're talking about Wednesday, Guardians, and Andor, and I was losing my train of thought on Guardians. I had a good point about there, but I guess I lost it.
Well, save it when we talk about Guardians.
Yeah. All right. So what do you want to talk about first? You want to do Wednesday?
Well, Guardian, then we're gonna. Did we talk about all the other stuff we were gonna talk about?
Yeah, at the very beginning.
We did. Yep. Okay. Sorry, I was just let me fix the AI on this episode. Plug in some prompts.
There's a glitch in my matrix. Yeah. I guess we could talk about you want to talk about Guardians first, the Guardians special?
The Guardians Christmas? Sure, why not? So they announced a couple of years ago when they were making Guardians of the Galaxy 3, they were going to make a Guardians Christmas special.
Yep.
What do you think of it? It premiered
it's weird. I'm gonna give it a B. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a little slight.
How dare you say anything bad about Lord Gunn?
It's funny. And this is completely anecdotal, just people I've talked to. It seems like the more people like Guardians of the Galaxy, the less they like the Christmas special. And people that didn't really care about Guardians of the Galaxy seem to really like the Christmas special.
I mean, I watched it with my son, my wife, and everyone. We all enjoyed it. We took it for what it is. It was mostly like just a fun little like
diversion.
I like the animation they did. That was kind of fun. Again, kind of like cool with the intro. Yeah, I think people probably were expecting something weirder. Like they were expecting like because the joke was they were making comparisons about like the Star Wars Christmas special.
Yes, yeah.
They brought that up and we were like, oh no, what are they gonna do here? Like they're gonna do like some variety show or something. Because I don't know if you ever saw the video they made for Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with David Hasselhoff.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that had like a 70s vibe to it. And
right.
I was like, oh no, what are they gonna do? They're gonna do like some fucking Brady Bunch. Remember they had a variety show, the Brady Bunch. Like,
yeah, I do remember this.
Like, are they gonna do something weird like that? It's just gonna be this nonsensical variety show. And it was just a straight laced, like special, like
Yeah.
little Christmas story. It was fun. The whole, we got spoilers. We got revelation that Mantis is Peter Quill's
Yeah.
sister. I had to explain that to my
Yep.
son for a second, and I said that they had different moms.
Yes.
As I said, don't you remember in Guardians 2 when they revealed that Ego was going around fucking all those different
Yeah.
women, different aliens? I used that language specifically. I said to my son,
Right.
"Do you remember when Ego went and fucked everybody?" I said, "Ego got around.
Yeah.
He's quite the cocksman." I did not say that either. I just said that different mothers, same father.
Yeah. Well, it was a good show. It was a good show. Like you said, there were a few revelations. There's a little bit of character development in there.
And it was funny.
Yeah.
I like the band at the beginning when they sing, and Peter Quill's like, "Wait,
Yeah.
you just learned these instruments?" They're
You
like
know,
mastering them. Like
was that band
that was a real band, I
yeah,
guess.
from Dallas area. I think it's the old 97s.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
never heard.
The only time I'd ever really heard of them is I used to watch a show called Veronica Mars, which I liked a whole bunch.
Oh, I remember that. They did the theme song.
No, that was the Dandy Warhols did the theme song, but the season 1 finale, there's a song, a great scene, and they did a song called Four Leaf Clover, and it was by the old 97. So it was a great song,
Okay.
and so
I mean, they were funny as aliens.
Yeah,
And I
good.
thought that was the whole. I like Groot looked really weird in the show.
Yeah, yeah,
People like that. Okay, so I get what they're saying. Like, okay, Groot's older now, and this is the thing is James Gunn has made clear that the Groot we know is not the Groot from the first movie.
yeah.
He
He's
had
like
to regenerate. He is literally like the son of Groot. Like
yeah,
he is his own thing. Groot died in the first
right,
movie. The Groot that we knew in the first movie has been dead, and this is the Groot we've known since Guardians 2,
yeah,
Infinity War, and Endgame, Thor Ragnarok, not Thor, Thor Love and Thunder. He's in
yep.
that for a bit, and this, but I guess he's a little older now. Some time has
It's
passed.
like a teen, yeah.
Well, he was like preteen or something, and in Infinity War, he was like tall and skinny, and I
Yeah.
thought it was weird because I feel like he looks more like they put his head from when he was a baby on him.
Yeah, he does have
He
a baby
like
head.
a big bunky baby, and it was super weird. I do love that one scene when Peter Quill's like doing something, and you see Groot in the background, like looking in, like spying on him, and he's like, "What?" I don't know. That was weird. I had to get used to that.
Yeah.
Bunky Groot. The whole Mantis and was it Drax was great in Hollywood.
Yeah, yeah, they were great.
In front of the main Chinese theater. It was really funny.
Yep.
Beating up a GoBot.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's quite the reference right there. No one knows what a GoBot is except for like people my age.
Yeah.
And yeah, Mantis was great. I love that character. I think she does such a good job as her. That like when they were just like terrorizing, they were like leaping around and
Yeah.
jumping. How frightening! I mean, like the whole Kevin Bacon thing was really funny.
Yeah, he's a great sport. I don't know. I thought it was real fun. Like I when I say I would give it a B, it's like that's not a bad thing. I mean, I had fun watching it. I don't
You just
at
don't
all.
like things. That's okay. I understand.
It was good.
No,
It was
it definitely wasn't like. I mean, it was fine for what it
Yeah.
was. I enjoyed it. I watched it again. We watched it again, me and my son, and we enjoyed it the second time. I thought it was fine. It goes by quick. It doesn't really have any slowdown.
No.
The part when Drax flips the car over is really funny, and she's like, "Don't get on anyone."
Right.
Just goes, "Stay."
That was good. There's a lot of good scenes in there.
The whole you got a little bit of what's his face who died in 2.
Oh,
Yandu.
yes, yeah.
He had a little bit of revelations with that too, with the whole like, because if you look in his dashboard in like the first second movie, he has like all these little characters on his dashboard.
Yeah.
And you realize that like
they're gifts from
probably they were gifts from Peter Quill, and I think he got him addicted to like collecting little
Yeah.
characters. So I thought that was kind of a cool thing. And it actually makes it even better because in the end of Guardians of the Galaxy in the first one,
Hmm.
Peter Quill, Yondu agrees to work on everything, thinking that he's gonna get the Infinity Stone.
Mm.
And Peter Quill tricks him because Yondu opens up the thing that should have had the Infinity Stone in it, and instead it's like another little character, and he
Yeah. Yeah.
laughs. So it gives it like a little bit of like a nice,
Yeah. A little unity.
a little bit of what they call that callback,
Yeah.
and it shows you that like, yeah, they had like this relationship where he was kind of like his dad in a way,
Hmm.
or as he said in Guardians too, Daddy. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it. I looked. Did you see the trailer for the new movie?
Yes. Yeah. That looks great.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect with it. I actually it makes there's a scene where in the beginning you think they're going to Earth and you see like all those animal men.
Yeah.
That is actually from the comic. They kind of changed it a bit, but that's supposed to be Wundagore.
Oh, okay.
That's a high evolutionary,
Huh.
is the villain. So that is kind of like from the comics. So I thought that was just really funny how it kind of looked like the 80s a bit, and but everyone had like animal heads.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know what to expect from it. Hopefully it's good. I'm curious who's gonna. Supposedly there might be some characters that might die in this.
Yeah. I can't imagine it's not good. I mean,
I'll be
maybe,
honest,
but
like I liked one a lot. Two I liked, but I didn't like it as much as one.
mm,
I found some things into annoying. Just kind of slows down some parts, but still good.
yeah.
Um, but I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
And
No, you.
Matt Warlock's going to be in this, so we'll see where it
Sure.
goes.
Yeah.
Now James Gunn is leaving Marvel. This is his last. He's
Randy's
already,
taking over DC, right?
yeah, he's already in there. He's finishing this up, and he's running DC. They've already made a bunch of announcements. And I don't know if this is bullshit or not, but supposedly Jason Momoa after Aquaman 2,
Yeah, it's gonna be Lobo.
yeah, which I think is kind of funny because one, he is perfect for Lobo.
Yeah,
They
true.
should have casted him years ago and just made him Lobo, but they were like Aquaman was one of the big characters, but they basically made Aquaman into Lobo.
Right.
Like, like, like he was basically Lobo. So I think would be great is if like in the end of Aquaman 2, Jason Momoa looks at the screen and goes, you know what? I don't want to lie to you guys, but I've been Lobo the entire time. He
Yeah,
takes off,
call me Lobo.
he peels off like the makeup, and he has got like the black around his eyes and the white
Yeah.
skin, and I mean like white, and he's just like, yeah, I'm Lobo now, and everyone's just
Mm.
like, oh, okay, sure, why
Okay.
not? I mean, Lobo hangs out with dolphins, space
Sure.
dolphins, so I don't
Wow.
like Aquaman in a way.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's interesting. Supposedly they're not going to make a Wonder Woman 3.
Hmm. Yes, I did hear that. Patty
Well, 2,
Jenkins.
2 is terrible.
It was really bad. I mean, I
It was
wanted to like it so much because
bad.
one had a lot of goodwill, but two was bad. I don't think it had anything to do with the director necessarily.
I
Um,
mean, they made the movie. It was
yeah, but
bad.
I mean, I don't know. I can't remember if it was her story choice or her
I
plot
don't even know.
details
It
or
was fucking terrible. Like,
yeah.
I mean, there's movies where I feel like they get a bad rap, and there's other movies
Yep.
where I'm like, this is terrible. Wonder Woman 2 definitely falls under like bad.
Yeah. For
So
sure.
just it was like one. All right, I'm not even gonna talk about it.
All
I think
right.
we talked about it in an old episode of
Yes.
our
Yeah.
when it came out like 2 years ago. So but yeah, we'll see. I think I'm excited about the DC stuff he does. I think that he has a better eye when it comes to like comics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He understands the characters more than the people that they have had work on these
Right.
characters. The thing is that like, you know, the reason why the MC works is because they've found a way to no, they don't get it right all the time. But a lot of times they get the characters down pretty good
Yeah, I would say so.
comics. And I feel like with DC, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's yeah.
My
Those
issue with DC's always been, and I think this is not the creators, this is more management on WB side, is that they have this tendency to like once one thing doesn't do well, they just kind of drop the entire thing. And then if one thing does well, they're like, this is where the universe starts. And you're like, wait, what?
yeah.
They do this
It
all
went
the
by
time.
quickly.
Now, supposedly Marvel, and I don't know where. Supposedly Marvel is shuffling the deck or something. Like supposedly, like Phase 4, they didn't. I don't know where to believe
Yeah,
this stuff. There's a lot of like shitheads online that just want to spread shit because
that's
they
what I was going to say. Is I've heard
hate
that,
the
but not
woke
from any
agenda.
like reputable source.
Well, there has been truth. Like some things went from being a Disney Plus show and turned into a movie. Armor Wars was supposed to be a TV show. Now
Yeah.
it's a movie, and people think that it's a movie, which means that possibly Robert Downey Jr. is going to come back. Like he wasn't going to come back for a Disney Plus show, but he might come back for a movie, which
Movie.
makes sense. I could see that happening.
Mm.
Um, but from what I heard, and maybe this might be true, is that expect to see less. The movies that were supposed to come out are coming out because they work on those for years.
Yeah.
But supposedly the TV shows, they're gonna like calm down how many they make,
Hmm.
and they might what might happen is expect to see more like 45-minute, hour-long specials,
Hmm.
like Werewolf by Night.
Hmm.
And honestly, maybe that wouldn't be a bad thing when it comes to certain characters. Like,
I can see it working.
you know, maybe Moon Knight would have been better as just like an hour-long special, and we got to know the
Hmm.
character and force the writers to make quicker decisions and tell a more better compact story instead of it being dragged out in 6 episodes.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think She-Hulk worked as a TV show. I think they did a good job on it. I know a
I do
lot of
too.
people hated it, but I don't care. I thought they did. I thought that was that worked the best as a show because it treated a lot of the episodes were like one-offs instead of just being
Yeah,
forced as
there
a
was an arc, but it wasn't super detailed.
it allowed enough freedom to have these one-off episodes. So you had that great episode of Wong, you had that great Daredevil episode, you had
Yeah,
that
that's a good
like
one.
episode with Abomination. You had like it allowed like individual episodes to thrive instead of it just being part of a puzzle piece or
Yeah.
something.
Hmm.
So we'll see. I don't know. Again, I don't trust a lot of those sources. I think a lot of them are bullshit.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
All right. I guess since we're talking about Disney, why don't we talk about Andor?
Okay. Um,
So
I
yeah, go ahead.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought the last episode was good. I'm glad that I knew that they were already planning on a second season. Supposedly, they're already working on it.
Yes, I did
I
not
They
know
haven't
that at the
announced when
time.
it's going to come out, though. I bet it probably won't be till like 2024 that we'll see.
I've heard early 2024.
Okay, I mean, I think it was. I liked some of like, yeah, like Mandalorian's coming out. Season 3 is coming out March 1st.
Yeah.
That took forever. I think there was some weird. Well, one, they made the Book of Boba Fett,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think there was some. I don't know what's his face is doing that show on HBO, the Left Last of Us or something. It's based on a video game.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's based
That
on a
actually looks pretty
PlayStation
good.
game. Yeah,
I
I
wonder.
remember the video game was actually really well written and kind of poignant, and
Yeah,
it was and the show looks great. I mean, it
yeah.
looks.
I don't really know anything about the game, but the show looks pretty amazing.
Yeah. Do you want to know the basic plot outline of the game or not really?
Now we'll
Yeah,
save it for an episode of.
it's good. Yeah,
I
it's
mean, I'm
good.
assuming downfall society type stuff, mutants, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think you could probably write a lot of it in your head, but like there are some important things that make it like more character driven, um, and more like the stakes started to get raised pretty quickly. Which I don't know. I like in those types of things. I
You
want to
like when
know.
the stakes are raised.
Yeah, like a lot of times it just seems like, well, why should these characters care about anything? And it becomes a little wheel spinning ish. But
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah.
the one
Uh,
thing, the
so go ahead. What?
oh no, I was going to say the Andor conclusion to season one. I did not realize that they were getting a season two. The closer I got towards the ending of the first episode of season one, the more obvious it seemed like, well, this part of the travel is going to end. Um, and I wish that they had maybe made it a little more definitive, you know.
Oh, you mean like it's like a more of a bigger ending?
And then, well, more of a concluding ending here. You know, like there's a lot of loose threads, more loose threads
Well,
than I
then I
thought.
mean they announced the season two, so that's good. I feel better
Yeah,
about it. Like if there
true.
was no season two plan, then I would be like,
Yeah,
I feel like we got a half a story.
right.
Now it's like Dune, the Dune movie, where
Dune, yeah,
you don't make part two at the same time as one, or you don't make it like a year later.
right.
Fuck, there's still like when's that? I don't even know if they even started that yet, you
I
know?
don't think so. Yeah,
No, it's like what the I'm sorry, like that bullshit.
yeah,
Andor at least, and that it's funny because that guy's in it too. He played the Duke or something.
yeah.
Edo? No, Baron
Baron
Harkonnen.
Harkonnen or something. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Hold on one second.
yeah, yeah. Mm.
I just want to pull up IMDb.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
'cause I always forget these actors' names and their characters' names. So Luthen, played by Stellan Skarsgård. There's a lot
Nice.
of theories going around that he is a former Jedi,
Okay,
and if he is, it makes a lot of sense.
it does.
It
Yeah, that would
does.
make sense.
One, all the artifacts is one thing, but he said if you listen to him, he gives like this like monologue in like the second to last episode when he's talking to that guy. He's
Hmm.
talking about like all the stuff he's like giving up and all that. Like he's kind of like a fallen Jedi. Like some
Oh
people
yeah,
say he's a Sith. I don't think he's a Sith, but he might just be like a fallen Jedi. Like he probably, you fall out of the Force, like you
right.
don't use it. Like they kind of talked about that in the Last Jedi with Luke.
Yeah,
Like he kind of turned it off. Obi-Wan, they touched on that too. Like he took a couple, like it wasn't until like end of episode two that he was able to like really use the Force. He
right.
just wasn't
That's a
really
good
using
point.
it. It's like it's like if you stop drawing for a while, you don't get no, it's true. Like
Oh
you have to
yeah, no, I hear
draw. If
you.
I don't draw for like a month, like you suffer,
Yeah,
they say like it's like riding a bike or something. I'm
right.
like, it's not true. I haven't rode a bike in a while and I went on one. It took me a little bit to like
Get your footing.
ride it properly.
Well, yeah,
uh but so there's a rumor that he's a former Jedi, which I think is funny because everyone's like, I like the show because it doesn't have any of
yeah.
that Jedi bullshit in it. I'm like, it's been a Jedi in the show the entire time, but okay. I think it's so funny. I'm sorry, that's Star Wars. Like, listen, I like this. Don't tell me that like you like Star Wars, but you hate fucking everything that makes
Right.
it
Is
Star Wars. Like, I'm sorry. Like, Jedi's is what makes Star Wars Star Wars. Like, I don't
yeah.
mind these like smaller adventures with
Yeah, I was just gonna say I
regular
like the
people, but
mix of like not big screen, little screen, but like big stories versus kind of intimate stories versus I like that
but
mix.
that's like the thing that separates like Star Trek from Star Wars is that you had Jedi's.
Hmm.
Like
It's true.
more mystical things and unexplained mysticism and
Yeah.
powers that like don't make any sense, like
Right.
um but I don't say that hurts the show. It's just I just find that like an odd statement. It's like
Quirk.
saying
Yeah.
I only like Spider-Man when it's just Peter Parker and you're just like
Yeah. I don't know. I liked
you don't like
and
Spider-Man.
I liked Andor quite a bit, and uh, I know I just kind of said this to some extent, but I like the idea that there's different offerings of Star Wars. I'll
No,
watch
I'm
them
not
all.
saying there's anything wrong with that. I
Yeah,
liked it.
yeah,
I think it's funny criticism to have against Star Wars when it's like, I know what it is.
yeah.
I mean, like, it's or people complain when there's like stormtroopers show up. I'm like, what do you
Yeah,
mean? Like, that's so
that's what they
you're
do.
watching you're watching a Star Wars.
Yeah,
You need a couple of those callbacks so you can be like, oh yeah, I've been watching a Star Wars the whole time.
well, what do you think? I mean, obviously Andor is like, look, you got to either let me come with you or take me in, and
Oh, I thought that was a cool ending because it showed like he's committed
yeah,
and Luton wasn't gonna kill him, but I think when he smiles in the end, he's like,
yeah,
Yeah, you're
But
right.
they did do enough.
Adventure has just begun.
They did do enough of Luthen along the way to let you know that Luthen's not afraid to, have someone die
Oh
if he
yeah, he
thinks
probably
it'll.
would kill. I mean, it's possible he would have killed him, but I'm sure he would prefer not to have.
Yeah, not in that moment.
Um, no, I mean Andor's like fully committed. I liked, it's kind of you get everybody like ends up in a different place. His friend Bix, who
Yeah.
completely got fucked up.
Oh yeah.
He's with some of those people, like with the droid, and I forgot that bigger dude's name, and who else is on that
Yeah.
ship?
Are you
There's
talking
someone
about?
else on that ship. There was like some other town people.
Hmm.
And it was a great. I thought that whole episode with like it's like her funeral, and they used her funeral as a way. It reminded me of Shoshana at the end
Yeah.
of
The
Glorious Bastards when
yes.
she's dead, but they had that video and it was playing in the smoke and she's like laughing like you're all dead and everything. It's like it's kind of similar where she's this big hologram. They're using the droid as a way to do it, and it ends up turning into a rallying cry. Like
Yeah.
first she's talking, but then it's like she's giving this speech and basically telling people like fucking start a
Right.
riot. And
Yeah.
I
She
thought
get
that was
these.
really well done. I like the whole like that woman who the imperial lady, the
Yeah,
whatever,
her name was on the tip of my tongue. I want to say it starts with an M.
Dedra Miro. I don't know
Okay,
what her
Miro. Yeah,
what is she, like lieutenant? I don't know what the fuck she is.
something like that.
Yeah, she wears that white uniform. She's a higher up.
Yeah,
Uh she's like about to be like torn apart, and that guy like happened to be there
yeah.
because his buddy called them to come down there, and I like that scene where she's like just going into like
Oh
shock,
yeah.
like saved her, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. She was kind of like creeped out on him, but at the same time, she looked like she was going like fucking in the world. I'm like, where's this going?
Yeah, it was a little
Uh,
confusing.
I think everything ended up in a good place that it leads well into the second season. Like I
Yeah,
said, if there was no plan of a second season, then this show I would have just been like,
yeah.
well,
Nobody wants to have a character in peril for 3 months. I mean, you want to get a lot of that stuff resolved. Uh,
I mean, like not even in peril 3 months, but like nothing ever being explained. Like
true.
meaning they had no plans to make another show.
Yeah,
Then I
that's
would be
true.
like,
True.
you guys left so many loose threads and introduced so many characters. Like it'd be stupid not. It'd be like I said, if Severance didn't have a season two,
Right. Yeah.
like this episode proved. Like I said, you said it didn't have enough of a definitive ending.
Yeah.
Like, and I agree, but knowing that this is a second season, I'm not bothered by it.
Right.
Knowing that we will have further adventures and know and the story will evolve. And I like the ending, the very end. They threw in a little scene in the end after the credits of the basically all you get to see that what those things were being
Oh
made.
yes. Yeah.
Andor was making in the prison, and it was his demise. He
Yeah.
was building it because he gets spoilers for what happens to Andor. But if you ever saw a movie called Rogue One, Andor gets just
Yeah.
killed by the Death Star.
Right. It's pretty unambiguous.
In this series, it's kind of cool because he gets imprisoned and he has to work, and they have him slaving away with everyone else, working on these cogs, whatever it is. And I had a feeling the whole time that he was building pieces for the Death Star,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they kind of showed that the components getting built. I thought that was pretty awesome. It's so amazing how much work went into building the Death Star, and all it took
Oh
was
yeah.
Convoy to just make a really odd shot in a hole,
Shooting womp rats. Shoot.
just like shooting Womp Rats. One little tiny burst
Well,
from an X-wing
yeah.
blew up that entire space station.
I have liked the.
You know, you don't like Jedi's. I'm not saying because you don't think
Yeah.
it's realistic, but you're fine with that.
No, I like the kind of adult themed. It was also fine for middle schoolers, but I like the Andor vibe.
I liked it. I thought it was
Yeah.
good. I thought the
Yeah.
show was. I enjoyed it. Like I said, the beginning, first episodes, I was down on it, but then it picked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
say the one thing I think they try to make these shows like less episodes, but what I really liked about Andor is that because they had 12 episodes, they were able to do these kind of like powerful episodes
Oh,
and kind of clumps, like 3 episode clumps. You had
oh,
the first three
jeez.
episodes where he ends up off the planet, and then the other 3 episodes where he ends up with that crew, and then there's that amazing finale on that planet with like that was like amazing with like the weird
Yes.
fireworks that were at that natural whatever it was that when they were stealing all the money,
Yeah.
like that was really cool. You got a satisfying story there. Then you had the story with him in prison that lasted
Yep.
a couple of episodes,
Yeah.
and then you had the finale. And I think by having the that story construct really worked in their favor. And I kind of wish shows
Okay.
like Mando had that more, or where you allow like cooler well, Mando does a good job of like at least telling like you can go back and watch individual episodes of Mando.
Yes. Yeah. They're remarkably self-contained.
They have a continuous arc, but they are self-contained.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe that's a bad example, but I think like in the Marvel shows or something like that, like I like Moon Knight would be a good example where we would gotten Moon Knight to fight like a villain for like 2 episodes. Like if
Yeah.
Moon Knight was like let's say 10 episodes instead of 6, we would have gotten more Moon Knight like villains and action, really get to know the
Yes.
character. And you can have the continuing arc in the background of like the conflict between Stephen Grant and Mark
Yeah.
Spector, and maybe the
That
other
might have
person.
worked out better.
It might have worked a little better. Then you could have like more villains and like I think people like that's why I think She-Hulk worked because by giving it 9 episodes, it allowed like just more fun things to happen. And like I think like Miss Marvel would have benefited from being like 8 episodes instead of only 6. Like they could have
Mm.
had her like fight a villain in like her fucking high school. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that there's something to like a villain of the week type thing that works. And I feel like that's the one thing I don't like about uh streaming TV is that you lose those really compelling one-off episodes like shows like Buffy had because
Right.
like Buffy was like I mean fuck there was like 22 episode seasons but like that's why I think Andor works like
Yeah.
yeah I get the whole 6 episode structure thing
Mm.
but there's some breathing room that could be had and I think
Yeah.
like some of those Marvel shows and Star Wars shows would benefit more like even like Obi-Wan maybe would have benefited more with a couple episodes where you had him just like could have done like a Clone Wars episode, like a flashback to the
Right.
Clone Wars and like him dealing with something. And Vader's not in the episode at all, like it's like just
It's his own thing. Yeah.
it's his own thing, only one thing.
I think it would depend on the location where you put it. Like there's some places that are a natural fit for like elaboration and other places that aren't. Like some episodes of Boba Fett seem like
Well, Boba Fett they fucked up
or
because
yeah,
they
Mandalorian, I
4
mean.
episodes and then they decided to do a mini season of
Yeah.
Mandalorian in the show and then
Right.
wrap it up. That's where that show should have been like 8 episodes long.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the
Like
reverse problem.
I think what we should have gotten what would have made that show richer. Well, one, the way the flashback structure was terrible.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
made no sense. The flashback, everyone said like that's doesn't him sitting in a fucking Bacta tank having flashbacks. No, they should. It's like the show Yellow Jackets we watched recently, where the past correlates with the present by showing what's happening in the present, and then you have a flashback and they kind of work together or how
Yeah.
loss would work. And that's how Boba Fett should have been. Like you should have had like him trying to like deal with the town and like try to gain power among the villains. And then as like something happens there, you would then go to a flashback that makes sense. Like the
Right.
lesson he learns in
Within
the
the
past.
context.
Yeah, the lesson he learns in the past then feeds into the next scene in the present, showing that
Mm.
Boba Fett learned something and that's how he's able to take on this bad guy or whatever situation by the stuff he learned by being with the Tusken Raiders. Another thing that show lacked was like building up momentum with that villain. Like we needed that episode there was a flashback between It's almost like what's funny is that guy, I forgot his name, Cad Bane, who
Yep.
shows up in like the second to last episode and then is the villain basically. There's no like we're told they know each other and there's like a conflict,
But there
but
was no investment in
I
that
mean I get it. Like,
character.
oh yeah, go watch a Clone Wars episode. No,
Mm.
that's not how it works. You got to get the normies to watch it, and then maybe later on they'll go watch a Clone Wars episode.
Yeah.
But you need a solid episode of like, hey, these guys know each other for a reason. Then you do a flashback, and the lessons learned from this is why Boba Fett's like this, and it's why Cad Bane's like this because Cad Bane didn't learn any lessons,
Yeah.
and then the show would have been rich. And I think that's where Andor worked. Was it benefited? Was see, I was afraid of like
I was terrified of
I
Andor.
was scared of Andor. I didn't know what he was going to do to me. No, this first two episodes were kind of short, and I was like, oh, this is going to be like 12, like 20-minute episodes.
Right.
No, they ended up being like 45 an hour long, some of them longer. Like they were pretty packed. There was a lot of stuff going on in those episodes. There was a
Yeah.
lot like I like the whole thing with Mon Mothma. I like the ending. It showed like her. One of the things I thought was great about that was the one I love is she hates her fucking husband. I think that's
Yeah.
fun. But the whole like her kid was like part of like whatever religion they are. She's like more conservative, the kid.
Okay. Yeah.
And she was more than fine. Like she basically used her kid to free herself by having her kid possibly wed that gangster or whatever he
Yeah. Yeah.
is, mafia guy on her planet, like by wedding her kid, the
Mm.
funds that he would provide her provides her freedom. So
Yeah.
it looks like she's tying herself to her traditions,
Mm.
but she's actually using her kid to free herself.
Right.
And that's where she goes into rebellion. I thought that was kind of cool. I was like watching them. So yeah, I liked it ended. I look forward to season 2.
Yeah.
You?
Yes, I think so too. I think so too.
I think this is a seamless, just in case anyone's listening, Joseph's gonna edit it, but there was a glitch. I don't know what's going on with my internet. I guess it's actually beeping. It's not working. I'm on hotspot now, so it should be fine.
Oh,
But
okay. Yeah, it does seem
yeah,
like one of us has intermittent internet connectivity
yeah,
issues.
it's being stupid right now. Okay.
Well,
All right. Well, let's move. Go ahead. What?
Yeah, the last pop culture thing we were going to talk about was the Wednesday Addams TV show Wednesday. Were you able to watch the whole series?
Yeah, I watched it.
What do you think?
I mean, I've always been a fan of the Addams Family. I was looking forward to this. Wednesday's a interesting character. I mean, it's kind of like one of those like, how do you make a show of this? Like,
Yeah.
in the day, she's just like brooding girl. It's kind of funny. She's making jokes, but like, still have to make like a show, especially if she's the star of it.
Yes.
And I think they succeeded. There's a little bit of like, I mean, the whole like, oh, she goes to a school and there's interesting characters and she has to solve a mystery.
Yeah.
And it's like it's typical like young adult fare in a way.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
you've seen this in like Harry Potter and all these other like young adult novel series, but it worked. And it's not based off. I don't think there's any Wednesday book series out there that this is based off of.
No, I don't think so.
I think they did a good job. I'd like the whole one. It's a huge hit. So I'm assuming they're making a season 2. They said it was like
they announced a season 2.
One of the most watched Netflix shows, and Jenny Ortega was great as her.
Yep.
Addams Family like hardly in it, but then like I got really into the show and all the characters. That honestly, when the other Addams Family members showed up, it felt like it took away from the show. That's actually which is kind of funny. Like her with Thing. The hand.
Yeah.
You see all the behind the scenes pictures of her. It's so funny with the guy and they had to like he's in blue and it's his actual hand.
Yeah, I just saw that today for the first time. My daughter showed me a bunch of like TikTok clips.
It's so funny.
It makes really good.
It makes it funnier though, seeing those images.
Yeah, I thought I liked it a whole bunch. I thought Jenna Ortega was great. I do agree with you. Like, I wish the Addams Family, the other Addams Family characters had just been in it maybe at the very beginning in like a cameo, or at the very end to like pick her up from
Like,
school.
I don't mind it, like them being in it. It's like, fuck, if you're gonna cast what's her face as Morticia, you're
Catherine's,
gonna
yep,
use it.
yeah.
And what's his face is great as
Oh,
Gomez.
he was great.
What do you think of Fred Armisen as Fester?
I liked him a whole lot.
He's very different from the Christopher Lloyd. He's,
Yes,
if anything, he's more similar to original,
yeah,
the original one, who was kind of sounded like that. He was all like, "Oh, I'm Fester," the
yeah.
original Fester. I forgot what his name is. Like, he was like supposedly a one of the what is it, Get Along Gang or whatever they're
Oh,
called.
geez.
What
Well,
was that
I
group? Was the Buckwheat and Alfalfa?
yeah, our gang.
Yeah,
Um,
Little Rascals.
yeah, okay. I did
I think
not know
supposedly
that.
that guy was a little rascal originally. When he
I
played
thought
Fester.
Fred Armisen was great. I thought everyone was great. If I'm gonna have one quibble, and this isn't really a quibble, it's that it was a weird decision to make to send Wednesday Adams to a school where everyone was kind of magical, because like the whole Adams family shtick is that everyone else is normal.
That
And
that is actually the thing that I brought up when I was watching it, because we watched it all together,
yeah,
that show.
we did too. Yeah,
And I said this. I said my only issue with this is that the Adams family is, and even among the Adams family itself, like when they have like reunions and
yeah,
we see all the weirdos, is that in this world, the Adams family is like, they're just weird. Like, yeah,
right.
there's some odd things like, cousin It, who's like a hairball, and the
Yeah,
fact that there's like a severed hand running
right.
around. But like Lurch is just some big weird guy. Fester's a weird guy. Gomez is just weird. Wednesday Adams is weird. Like, they're all just weirdos. There's no Draculas. There's no
Right.
Frankenstein's. Like, there's never really been any, like, as far as I remember from the TV show and even the movies, any like real supernatural. It was just like they're odd. Like, yeah, they do bend reality a little bit because some of the
Yeah.
stuff they do is like a little inhuman, but like that's what makes it quirky. But yeah, the fact that they decided that she goes to a school with like actual Draculas and
Right.
actual werewolves and hides and I mean, like at first I was like, but I liked it. It worked. I like that they kind of gave her powers, like she can
Is
like,
psychic or something. Yeah.
yeah, she's premonitions or something, and I guess her mom had it too.
Yeah.
But like, it is interesting that in the end of the day, why is she there? It's just
Yeah.
like she's there because there's like no one would take her, but like there's nobody like Christina Ricci's character. I like that they casted her in it. I like
That
that.
was great. Yeah.
Spoilers. I like that she's the villain. I
Yep.
thought that was cool. I like that. I think that was like, I'm glad that she was a big part of it. Did you get Misty vibes, or would you say that
Yeah.
even Misty is crazier than that woman is?
Yeah. Misty's next level crazy, but I did like Christina Ricci in this a lot. Um, I don't know. I thought
Misty's the best.
the whole show worked really well. I knew it was good because like me and my wife and my kid have sometimes we cross over in like little Venn diagrams, but for the most part, we're three different people with three different tastes in entertainment. And but we all liked this one a whole bunch, and it was just like kind of a cool, breezy, bingeable. I hate to use that word, but bingeable show. It's like the best of what Netflix can do. It's a great example
Yeah,
of the kind of stuff Netflix can do, and that you're not going to see it on network television. And it's just good. I'm real looking forward to season two. I love the little Wednesday Adams dance to that Cramps song. I thought that was real fun.
that was great. They said that she kind of like came up with it herself, like watching like old videos of kids dancing at golf clubs and
Yeah,
stuff.
and I can totally see that. And then you saw little bits of the original Morticia Adams dances in there, that kind of flamenco-ish dance and stuff. And it was great. I liked everything about it. Like I said, the only quibble, and it wasn't really even a quibble, is like uh, it was just a weird choice to make it like everyone's supernatural. I was like, well,
Well, that's the thing. It's like, in the end of the day, like, wouldn't that make Wednesday like the most normal character
yeah,
there?
And maybe that was the
not like
point. I don't know.
personality wise, like not personality wise. Like the Christina Ricci character, she talks about how she was like, she says in the one of the first episodes, something like, "Oh, she's too weird to be with the normal people, and
Yeah.
but not weird enough to be with these people." And in a way, like Wednesday Adams kind of falls in line with that too. Like, yeah, she's just like this brooding goth girl, but like, yeah, I guess she has those premonitions, but she's not
Yeah.
a fucking werewolf or a Dracula
Right.
or a Gorgon or a fucking
Yeah.
was that one girl was a siren or
Yes.
like
All the other
these are all like
ones.
supernatural creatures and shit. And Wednesday Adams isn't that. Like she's not one. And I thought
Yeah.
that was kind of interesting. And I'm amazed that that never got brought up. I do like though that like I like the like what was it? Like she kind of like she's so like full of herself. Like she thinks she's like good at
Yeah.
everything. But like I like that she when she goes against the one girl who's like the siren in
Yeah.
fencing, she loses. And I thought that was great. I'm glad they kind of did that in the early episodes so that there's like I do like the whole her, she's so like doesn't want to be around people, so she
Yeah.
claims, but like she hugs her friend in the end,
Yeah.
the werewolf girl.
Yeah. I like the
I
werewolf
love
girl.
I like the Hyde thing looks like a Tim Burton character.
Yeah, that was really like,
Like it looked like the Large Marge villain. Remember
yeah.
Large Marge and
Yeah, from
Pee
Pee
Wee
Wee.
Herman?
Yeah.
When she's like, and then it looked like this.
Yeah.
That's kind of what he looked like. And I liked when they show him transforming, and it's just like his eyes just get it's so funny.
Yeah, it was good. It was, and that was like kind of grotesque and a little
Like it's
intense.
like cartoony looking, but
Yeah.
like it works. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, it was good. I mean, yeah, there's some trappings in there. Like I've
Sure.
seen this show several times already. There was a show called like The Wick or whatever on Netflix, and
Mm,
honestly, it's not much different. The
yeah.
Winks. I forgot what it's called. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah.
It's
I've seen
not that
you
different.
you had mentioned Harry Potter too, and it does give a lot of Harry Potter vibes. Um, but I mean, look, a lot of those things are just genre television, and they work because that genre works. So, did you
Right.
find?
I mean, the fact that they took a character that is really, in the end of the day, does not. I mean, like they had to do some fun bits in the movie, but she's just one of the kids on in the show in the
Yeah.
movie. Like she doesn't have to have a whole show
Right.
hold the whole show. So
Yeah.
to have like a spin-off that's just Wednesday, it worked. And it probably shouldn't have, but they had talented people work on it. They had a great cast. I like
Yep.
Gwendolyn Christie was great in it.
Oh
I'm
yeah, she was
curious,
real good.
like, they killed her off, but it'd be kind of funny if, like, second season, she comes back, but she plays like her sister, who is
Shapeshifter.
also someone that changes shape.
There
Yeah.
was I
I
saw
don't know. I
some
felt like, I'm like, is she really dead? I
I
find that
saw a
hard,
bunch
but
of
what?
theories on I saw a bunch of theories on TikTok saying she wasn't dead. And they used evidence like she used like a different hand later in the like she went from like right-handed to left-handed, or there's like enough there so that I was thinking like maybe, but it didn't like immediately sell
They can
me.
come up
So
with something and say how she's not dead.
yeah, they don't have to do any, all they have to do is say, hey, she's not dead now. That's how it
I'm
works
feeling
here.
better.
That's how it works here
I'm
at
feeling
Edgar
much
Allan
better.
Poe. Yeah.
What?
That's how it works here at Edgar Allan Poe High.
Oh, that's
Whatever.
right. That's so funny. That's Nevermore.
Yeah.
Like I thought of like yeah, it's from fucking Edgar Allan Poe. Made a school. Nah, Tim Burton's definitely all over the show.
Yeah.
Like, and it's cool because it felt like did he direct it or he directed some of
I
the
don't
episodes, didn't he?
I don't think so. I think he produced it.
I don't know. I feel let me look it up real quick. I think he might have directed a few episodes because like I feel like his blueprint. Yeah, no, director. Tim
he
Burton
he directed?
directed 4 episodes.
Oh, okay.
James Marshall did two, and Ganja Monteiro did 2 episodes. So he
You're
did half the
right.
show. I
He
mean,
did the
it
first four.
definitely I feel like he did literally the first four, not spread out in different.
Yeah. No, he did the first four.
Well, I mean, it laid out the blueprints and stuff. I feel like that was like kind of like a return to form for him. I feel like
Yeah.
he's kind of like I don't know. I haven't been impressed with some of his stuff over the years. I don't think it's his fault. I think probably some of the projects he was given or
Yeah,
whatever. I don't know. I like the show. I'm looking forward to a second season. I'm curious how long we'll have to wait for it.
yeah.
What's her face is great. She's a freaking star now. And she's in so much stuff, that girl. She's been in once she was like in a season of You.
Hmm.
She was in that movie XXX or whatever it was called,
Yep.
that horror movie. That wasn't very good. She's in that. I just saw some movie today with I was watching it with my wife today. It was kind of silly on Hulu. She's in that. It's called like American Carnage. It's kind of
Oh
an
yeah,
interesting movie. It's corny as hell, but worth watching. It's a
yeah.
movie about like immigration, and it's like a horror movie. It's definitely on like the silly side.
Right.
I'd say it's worth a watch. Definitely check it out.
Cool. All
She's
right.
in that. Like she's been like working for years since she was a kid actress. Like she was like, I guess she got her start in like Richie Rich.
Yes,
There was
I
a
saw that.
show.
She was
And she
also in Elena of Avalor, a cartoon my kid used to watch when she was like 3. You're right. She's got a ton of credits, and they're all like from, not all, but many of them are from good production companies.
like she's in some crap, she's some good stuff, but
Yeah,
like it's just crazy that now she's because of this, she's gonna be huge just from
yeah.
this. I mean, playing this iconic character. Um, And it's funny, people, talk about like Gomez and stuff, but like, what's his face? Like, that's kind of like really what Gomez looks like. If
Yeah.
you look at the old
At the
Charles
old
Adams
cartoons.
drawings,
Yeah.
he's like a fat, pudgy little man. Like
Yeah.
he's not Raul Julia, you know?
No, no. They kind of like, it is weird how those characters evolved. Like the Adams Family reboot with Christopher Lloyd, Raul Julia, and uh who's the woman who played Morticia? Angelica Houston. They really took just a few elements of the original Adams Family and super exaggerated them. Um, and so now when I think of like Morticia, I get a blend of like the original Morticia and the Angelica Houston Morticia. I don't know. I like this. I thought this. I
I liked
also,
her better. I don't know. I'm sorry. I never. This is just no knock on
yeah,
Angelica
yeah.
Houston. Never found her pretty.
Oh
And
yeah.
fucking what's her face is beautiful.
Right, right, yeah, yeah.
What's her name?
Is the new one's Catherine Zeta-Jones, right?
I find it interesting on the show. No offense, Angel Houston still was great as
Oh yeah,
Morticia.
yeah.
Night. Um, I the one thing I found interesting about this show though, and it's one of those things that don't get really explained, is how much she like kind of despises her mother.
Yeah.
Like,
I
was that ever in the movies or in the
I
TV show?
never recall that from
I
anything.
found that like maybe in season two they'll like explain like maybe there was like some kind of falling out they had or
I
something.
I think that's 100%
Is it
plot
just like
plot
because she's
device.
like a late teenager? Like who the hell is she supposed to be like
Yeah.
16 in this,
I think
17
they
in the
just
show?
needed an example for her to not be at home. And that's one of the things
Well,
they
she's not at home because she kept on getting kicked out of school. She threw a piranha
yeah.
in the school, and the piranha ate one of the guy's nuts. Like they literally said that.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I do like the whole her falling for the guy who's the villain,
Yeah.
but then there's the other guy. So there's the love triangle thing
Yep.
going on. What's his power? He's like his drawings come to life.
Yeah, well, it's weird. Like his
He's like a
drawings, he's like part psychic and they part come to life, or because like
and they kind of he knew her. They brought that up
something
that
like
they
that.
met when they were young.
Yeah, yeah,
I thought they did a good job of like making you think he was the villain. I kind of not to pretend I knew, but I had a feeling that the guy who was the normal person
yeah,
was something up with him.
yeah. That's they seem to telegraph that.
The whole pilgrim thing I thought was interesting.
Yep, yeah,
I don't know. It's good. I like
it
it. I mean, I
is.
don't really know what else to say about it. It was I'm
No,
glad I was able to watch it with my son and wife, and like we all enjoyed it. Like it's nice
yes,
to like. I feel like I watch a lot of stuff that it's kind of watching my own.
me
That
too.
like,
Yeah,
so I thought it was kind of cool. If anything, I was kind of like, I kind of wish I watched it on my own just because I would have knocked it out
right.
quicker.
I mean, I can't
But
think of only a few shows that me, my wife, and my 11-year-old daughter can watch together.
have you
Um,
ever finished Cobra Kai?
Oh yes, yes. And that is another one. I was going to say Wednesday, Cobra Kai, and maybe Euphoria are
So you
probably
did
the
you
three.
watched Euphoria with your daughter? Fuck out
I'm
of here.
kidding.
I never even watched it. I know that shit
I'm,
was probably inappropriate.
I'm kidding. I'm
Euphoria.
kidding.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I mean, my family's sitting around, we watch Cruising.
yeah, right. Yeah. No, Cobra
Followed
Kai was
by
great. I
followed
do.
by what's that movie? The like Penthouse produced
Oh,
it, Caligula or something.
Caligula. Yeah. Yep. Yep. All good
I
ones.
like sitting around, watch that stuff from the family, have a
Um,
Holocaust.
I thought Cobra Kai was great. Man, it was one of those wild ones where, like you had said a couple times, it's just all out there, you know.
Well, real quick, because I know we're gonna move on to
Yeah.
the other subjects. But the thing about Cobra Kai, we didn't get a chance to finish talking about it. But you finished the season.
Yes.
What's funny about this season was the other episode, like the other season, especially like the first season or two, they always did this like good job of kind of grounding things
Yeah.
and like bringing up how ridiculous the stuff in the movies were. Like they'll make a little joke, like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
They
this is
even
a
have
little,
these.
like, oh, you're gonna have a fight with your high school rival."
Yeah.
Like the mom, the wife would always
The
be kind of
wife was the
like
voice of reason. Yeah. The
yeah, but
audience.
then like she gets fully vested in. And then this season with Tony Silva, whatever his name is,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it just becomes a cheesy 80s action movie. I mean, he's got like the karate woman
Yeah.
from like Japan show. Like, I mean, it just gets so this season was so ridiculous where they invade his like they go to his house and like there's samurai
Yeah.
off that guy's fingers, like so funny. But then I thought they were gonna kill off Chosen. I was like, oh no.
It
And he lived.
it was
That
fine,
that's
but
the
it was
flash.
different. I used
It
to, when I would tell people who had never seen it, I used to talk to them about how, like, look, if you just get past some of the cheesy jokes or whatever, it's like a legitimately really good, thoughtful show. And now I just say, oh, it's an awesome show. You'll just like it. You know, if you,
well, I think it builds you to that season. It
it
doesn't
does,
season
yeah.
five doesn't happen in like season one. Of course not because it's season
Or
five.
two.
But
I
I
mean,
mean like
you get several seasons of development before
it
you go there.
but the whole I mean by the end with Tony Silva, like it just becomes a freaking
Yeah.
crazy cheesy action film.
And they kind of sneak some stuff in there early, like the character of Stingray is obviously a ridiculous thing. I mean that, you know, I know it's next level with the new season, but like
What do you
Stingray,
think?
well, like
Oh
because
him. Well, he's a silly character.
he's yeah,
It's
but
silly.
you
But he's
didn't
not
have Stingray in
he's not a
season one.
warlord that has minions working
True.
for him and
Okay,
like
fair point. Fair.
Sony Silva's like all of a sudden like it's the show turns into like the video game Double Dragon and
Yeah.
like I mean it just got so ridiculous. So, like which I always said like Karate Kid 2 is ridiculous. It was like, you have this kid asking to get trained to help defend himself in school in the first movie. And then in the second movie he's off to like Japan and he's
Japan, right?
involved in like warring clans and it's just like this is like it's like might as well just have him go to space next. And but this show did a good job of kind of like working your way into the Tony
Yeah,
Silva as the
that's
bad
true.
guy.
That is true.
Still, it was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I think there's one more season of that.
Yeah, that's what I've read.
I have a feeling, and this is gonna be I have a feeling what's gonna happen in that is that they're going to ground it a little better this season. I think
Okay.
they're going to make it sad. They're going to reveal that Tony Silva had cancer
Mm,
because you'd see him going to the doctor. He was getting
yep.
like a
Yeah.
checkup or something. I think they're going to show that he had cancer, and that's probably why he lost his mind and became like
Yeah.
a fucking gang lord.
Deathbed
I mean, even
conversion.
his outfit, he's wearing like all black. He's got like the little necklace. I was like,
Yeah.
this is so fucking funny. This is like a bad '80s movie. I'm
That's
loving it.
funny.
But I have a feeling the next season's going to go back to being like competition and a little
Yeah.
more grounded.
Return to roots. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're gonna
Yeah.
wrap it up.
Well, speaking of next seasons, we got great news about the renewal of a certain season, the Reverend Warnock season 2 of his.
Season two. We're getting a full season now instead of just the
Yeah, yeah.
two,
And
two,
see,
two the
he
the short special
he
that we
came on
got.
as a mid-season replacement, and then they picked him up to series. So it's true because you had
Was they were they were gonna do Seinfeld, renew Seinfeld, or they were gonna cancel Seinfeld and put in trying to think of a bad show that lasted like Pop Rock.
Top Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when Ossoff and Warnock were elected last time, Ossoff was elected to a 6-year term, but Warnock was only going to wrap up a term.
Yeah.
And so he only
And
got,
that one went to a runoff also
yeah,
on
yeah,
Warnock.
exactly. So,
That's why he said that he made that ad where he's like, here, I'm doing it again.
yeah. Well, now, for the next 4 years, Georgia's got 2 Democratic senators, period.
Yep.
Barring anything unusual.
Well, it's like the same thing with Arizona now. I mean, like regards to think of Kristen Cinema,
Yeah.
Mark Kelly's in there for a full term too.
Yep.
You also have a Democratic governor in Arizona.
Yeah.
You have a Democratic what was it, state legislature? What is that position? That
Secretary of
fucking
State. Secretary of
yeah,
State.
that's
And
Democratic.
I think you're gonna get a secretary attorney general who's Democratic. And that's
Brian
up for a
Kemp.
recount.
I think the only reason why Brian Kemp got reelected was because he was smart enough to not get on
Trump, yeah.
MAGA train. Now he
Yeah.
is horrible. He
Oh
is
yeah, yeah.
absolute dog shit. He wants to get rid of contraceptives. I mean, he put in
Uh-huh.
all the same garbage that Ron DeSantis did. He was just quieter. He
Yeah.
didn't go on TV. And I think he was able to squeak in a win. I don't know. I feel bad for what's her face. Like I said, I saw like Killer Mike coming out talking shit about
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
Like, fuck you, man. Like,
Yeah.
the goal is to get rid of Kemp. Like,
Right.
first we think of her, you gotta get rid of Kemp. I hate that whole bullshit of like, oh well, she got in, and we would be stuck with the terrible. I'm like, who cares? We wouldn't have
Yeah.
Kemp. Like, it's that
That
simple.
those people, I have no patience for those people. Yeah, I don't know. I think look, I
Like,
think
if I don't get the perfect candidate, I'm gonna eat dog shit instead.
The Kemp thing makes perfect
Covered in
sense.
glass.
Yeah, right. The Kemp thing makes sense to me because I think that a lot of Republicans just voted for whoever the Republican was. That's the most of them did. But there was enough Republicans out there who were like, look, I'll vote for Kemp, but I can't vote for Walker. He's
They
too.
voted for Walker because that's where we got the runoff. And the fact is, in the end of the day, I mean, what did Warnock win even in the runoff by? Like a 1%?
Yeah, not much.
Enough to like be enough to like I don't know what would happen this time if there was only like
Yeah, I don't think you need to recount or revote the revote or whatever. But
but like I mean that's sad that there's still
yeah,
people who are like who saw Walker and were like, yeah, I'm gonna vote for him because I hate the Democrats so much and I'm gonna put in this moron.
yeah.
This guy who one, he didn't even give a shit. He like went on vacation for like a week
Dude lived in
during
Texas.
during
Didn't even live in
Thanksgiving.
Georgia.
Yeah, he doesn't even live in Georgia.
It's crazy. I don't know how he got the votes he did. I'm glad Warnock won. Um, I'm glad Georgia now is a blue state in the Senate for the next 4 years.
Yeah,
This was another great
in the
loss
Senate.
for Trump. What'd you say?
Yeah, in the Senate. You're right.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, in the Senate.
Yep.
It's another great loss for Trump. And it was, I don't know. I mean, I look around at all the people. I saw Laura Ingraham was all mad, and Tommy Lauren, and a whole bunch of them, and they are all kind of dancing around the issues. This is what happens when you run shitty candidates. If they ran a bland, non offensive candidate, they probably would have won it. Warnock was beatable, you know. If they had gotten their own version of like Matthew McConaughey or whatever to go up, they probably could have won it. I don't know. I mean, anyway, Warnock is great. I like him a lot.
You said he's beatable.
Well, he was beatable in Georgia. I mean,
Yeah, I mean they ran the worst fucking person they could run.
yeah,
And it's just sad that even the worst person though it's still just by like a couple of
Yeah.
like what was it, like 100,000 votes or something. I mean, like,
Yeah, I pulled it up before we started talking. It was
what's the difference in the win? Like 100,000 votes? I mean, yeah, it's a lot of people, but in a statewide election, it really isn't.
yeah,
Especially when the state
Warnock
has a decent sized population.
Warnock won with 51.4% of the vote. The difference was like under 100,000. Uh Total votes counted were like 3.5 million, and he won by like 100,000. It seems like not a lot that he won by.
That's insane when you think about it. Like
Yeah,
it's crazy that this guy, that Warnock is this competent person who clearly is good at his job, and Walker is a drooling
dude.
moron.
He's like, if he
Is
weren't,
also has a terrible past and
yeah,
is a terrible person. Fucking all the shit that the Republicans are running on this guy was like the opposite of everything they
yeah,
claim they are. And they didn't care. They don't care.
no,
Christian Walker is well, Herschel Walker's son.
yep,
And he's this guy who definitely was getting in on the grift.
yeah, for
This gay
sure,
guy who really claimed he wasn't gay anymore and that he was this new conservative and
yeah,
his dad and everything. And then I guess like around the time that like I guess he must have had a falling out or something, but around the time it came out about like all the abortions, which was a couple of months for the
right, right,
election, he started going off about like how his dad was a piece of shit, was never around,
yeah,
at like it's just like talking about how horrible he is. And he posted a tweet the other day, I guess after the loss, and he said like, I'm getting attacked for talking about my dad, but like my dad is the guy who's like the
yeah,
opposite of everything you claim you are. You're okay with him, but I'm the one that's the bad
right.
guy.
I'm the
Like,
problem. Yeah,
and so who knows? Maybe we'll see a babyface turn by Christian Walker, where he'll turn into like
yeah, could be.
instead of an annoying right winger, he'll become an annoying left.
Yeah, I think something. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so glad that Herschel Walker lost. I actually do kind of feel bad for Herschel Walker in a little bit of a way. I mean, I think he does have like organic brain damage or some type of processing disorder. I mean, I'm not even kidding. I think like he probably got a bunch of concussions. He clearly isn't like super.
I'm sure he wasn't a genius to begin with. He wasn't
Yeah,
at the
right.
lab curing like cancer or anything like that. I think
Exactly. They didn't find him like with a trench, with a lab coat and beakers. I mean,
Herschel, what are you solving today? Oh, in between my
yeah,
figuring out how to fix Crohn's disease, I have also
right. Yeah, that actually was probably
I
Ben
created an
Carson.
AI that formulates the
Yeah, right.
but now I have to go run in Georgia for Senate.
Right.
Like, no, none of that happened. No,
Yeah,
he's terrible. Actually, the funny thing about this whole thing is I didn't know this. I told you about this earlier. Found out
yeah,
today I was watching Jared Report. They were talking about this, like Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham, and I think even Trump. Like, I guess when they like run with him and they get
yeah,
donations, they take like 90% of the donations. So Walker would get like, so if you were like think you were donating to like the Walker campaign, you
yeah.
actually weren't. And I'm
You
like,
were,
wow, what a fucking grift.
yeah. A lot of campaigns do that.
90%
But
though.
that's a little egregious. I don't know. I mean,
That's quite the take.
there's a
Like
great clip on
80%.
TikTok, a
What?
great clip on TikTok today of Sean Hannity, and it's like 50 different instances in which Sean Hannity was trying to get Herschel Walker to run, trying to add,
Yes,
you
and then
need,
he claimed afterwards that
right. He thought it was a bad idea from the beginning or whatever. Um,
who's this moron that was going around telling people to get Herschel Walker to run?
yeah,
That guy must be a real blockhead
the GOP
on
is in
that
a
view.
weird spot because, like, at this point, they if they run moderate candidates, they're not going to appeal to the chud voters. The chud voters will
Well,
primary those
the
moderate
problem is with
candidates.
the Republican Party is that like they are the opposite of everything when it comes to labor,
Yeah,
healthcare, environment, sick leave. they're against all that.
Right.
So they have no choice but to engage with the bigots.
Yeah.
And by bigots, I mean all bigotry from classic racism to homophobia, transphobia, anti Semitism, conspiracy rabbit holes,
Yeah.
just anti science. It's like they have no choice but to do that because that's how they get the morons to vote for them. If
Yeah.
they ran a guy like, let's say, Pete Buttigieg, but he was Republican,
Right.
he no one would like the
No.
Republicans would vote, but I don't think they would be as enthusiastic. They'd be like, I
Well,
think the
there.
Democrats would win in that instance. They need the guy has to be a straight up fucking
Yeah.
bigot. That's just
That's
what
the
they want.
thing.
And they have to
So
push lies and weird bullshit about like, just weird conspiracies about grooming and there's all kinds of nonsense that's bullshit. And the funny thing is, like, they tried doing the whole homophobia, transphobia in this election, and I mean, I think they didn't work, but it's like, yeah, the Republicans got the House, but I think the thing that people are admitting, and they as it are all the races done yet?
yeah, I believe so. I think the
You know what the
Republicans have,
final number is that the Republicans have?
I think 222. Let me see. Um uh it's gonna be, let's see, House Representatives.
I know they recounted the vote in Colorado for the Boebert thing. I don't know if that results ever came in yet for that, but they started doing that. It's 200
Oh,
right now.
221 to 213.
So they
Um,
gained the Republicans gained 9 seats.
yep.
But the thing is that, like, I guarantee you, most of those seats is because of the census.
Oh yeah. Well, and redistricting. New York really fucked it up.
Well, that's because of the census.
Yeah. Well, no, even they could have. They drew up one where they could have like picked up a lot of seats, and Como's people threw it out. Like it was a kind of
It almost sucked.
yeah. Um, so I don't know. I mean, like, look, I wish the Democrats had won. That would have been awesome. Keeping the Senate, I think, was the more important of the two chambers.
Well, it lasts longer. You
And you
can
can
keep
appoint
it,
judges and stuff like
yeah.
that.
They can put in as many judges they want. Also, by having 51 senators, you have a more true majority. I guess, like, they had some weird, even though like Schumer was the Senate leader, there was still like some weird shared role with McConnell
Yeah,
because it wasn't a full
because it was 50
majority.
50. Yeah,
Because they had the reason why the Democrats run it was because they had Kamala Harris, the vice
right.
president, Democrat. But now they have 51 seats. Supposedly, that's done.
Yeah,
That's done.
I've heard that too.
Now Schumer is the full-on Senate leader, and McConnell's power supposedly had been even more reduced,
Yeah, yeah, that
which
is
is
true.
good. Other win for America is that Kristen Cinema becomes a little less important.
Yeah,
Uh,
Manchin and Cinema are a
Manchin and
lot.
Cinema become a little less important. Now they can still fuck things up, but
Yeah, but like at that point, you're like,
they can't hold up everything like they used to. They just don't. They're not going to have the same power.
yeah,
And now with the state going full Democratic in Arizona, pretty much. I mean, Arizona. I mean, except for probably the state legislator. I don't know what their state legislation looks like, but that's pretty blue. I mean, you
I think
got,
it's gonna go blue. I mean, I think it's trending blue. It had been trending purple, and now it's trending blue. I mean, I don't
but
know.
I'm curious if like cinema is gonna, people are like, oh, is she gonna flip? No, I don't think she'd become a Republican. I don't think she fits what a Republican woman is. It wouldn't work. I mean, the
Yeah,
Republicans love it because it would fuck things up, but I just don't think she fits in. She's still like, pro-choice
yeah,
and all that stuff. But I'm curious if she'll resign. I could see her getting primaried. I'm sure they're working on that. Her election is
yeah.
in 2024. She'll be have to face reelection.
Okay.
And I'm curious if there'll be a primary against her. And
Yeah.
or maybe I could see her also being like, I got what I wanted out of this. I made millions of dollars being
Right.
sold. I sold out completely, and I got a big fucking, picnic basket waiting for me. I'm serious. I think I would not be shocked if she doesn't run again.
Yeah, I agree. I
I think
agree.
she's proven to be just a disgusting grifter, and whatever she claimed she was is. I mean, she used to be like a fucking like Bernie,
Yeah,
like
totally.
yeah, like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mostly
Well,
like her and Keith Olbermann used to date.
huh.
Yeah, Keith Olbermann was tweeting about that. I thought that was really funny.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Geez. I hope I hope things work well over the next couple of
I
years.
mean, the Republicans are. I saw like Boebert, like we're going to
Yeah,
investigate and have Tara Reid show up. I'm like, Tara,
good.
who gives a
I
shit about that fucking piece of shit? She's like, first of all, she's like a Putin cheerleader.
yeah. All
Fuck
these
her.
people, when they get the camera on them, they just go full lunatic. It was like with Rudy Giuliani bringing witnesses up, and the witnesses are just like obviously drunk or something. I mean,
Yeah, it's that fucking weird drunk actress they
yeah.
hired from the
If
same agency where all these other chuds come from.
if they spend a lot of their time trying to like interview randos that think like the Democrats are running sex slaves out of a pizza restaurant, more good, more power to them. Not a single Democrat's going to honor any subpoena coming from them. I mean, like the Republicans have like thumbed their noses at subpoenas for the last 2 years.
Legitimate
No,
subpoenas.
yeah, no one's gonna abide by that, and they'll just look like idiots. So, oh,
And they shouldn't have to. I guess let's talk about since we're talking about that, let's talk about Twitter real
oh,
quick.
okay, yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah,
were gonna
yeah.
talk about that later. Maybe we'll end on the well,
Um,
we can talk about that in a minute too. So like speaking of bullshit, the whole do you know anything about this fucking Twitter files thing?
yeah, a little bit, a little bit. I guess it was like they there is an internal process as to determine like what can we publish or what not publish. And from what I understand, the Twitter did throttle some of the Hunter Biden stuff. Now, I have looked. I have been online where there's like Republican accounts or Chud accounts just spam people's feed with nude photos of Hunter Biden or
Right.
something.
That's the joke
You
is
know?
that like the reason why they interfered anyway was because they were like, hey, can we not have my son dick everywhere?
Yeah. Well, and also it's like I've reported those before because like I don't want people to send me.
Dick pics?
Yeah, I don't want that. So you block them and then they're back with a different account. And anyway, so uh, there was that, and also the Trump account used to email Twitter and say, "Hey, we want this removed or we want
And the
that
joke is
throttled."
the
And
Republicans want you to forget, and Elon Musk wants you to forget that like who was the president in 2020?
yeah, I mean,
Trying to act like Biden used his power of the presidency to control Twitter, and it's like
yeah.
he wasn't president.
So I mean, I don't understand how it's considered to be explosive or a bombshell or anything. I think a lot of people feel that way. I think all these little Republican gotchas just sort of fade away into nothing after a day or two.
Well, what was like that fucking guy Matt Taibbi was like a big part of it or something.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, what a joke! That guy sucks. I remember years ago they were trying to like push this guy as if he was like the next like Hunter S. Thompson.
yeah,
I never understood this guy's appeal. I always found him really like I watched him and like okay, he's the son of a journal, like a famous
yep,
broadcaster, or yeah, right. He was like a
yeah.
broadcaster
I
or
think
something
so.
like
Yeah,
that. And so okay, legacy hire. I found him always to be incredibly boring and like kind of just full of himself and arrogant
yep,
and like and it was like, oh, he curses. Okay, that's cool. I curse too. Who
right,
cares?
yeah.
Um, and he is like, he worked for Rolling Stone. I was like, okay, are they trying to like push this guy to be like the next Hunter S. Thompson
Seemed
or
it. Yeah,
yeah, like he's trying to be. And it's like, dude, what a fucking pathetic, like full. Now you're just like sit fucking shilling for Elon Musk. And the thing is, I'm not shocked by this because I remember like years ago, he was on like this was like during the 2004 election,
yeah,
and he was on Bill Maher. Bill Maher always had him on, and he had him going around or something, like doing reporting on the campaigns. And all he did was just trash Kerry.
yeah.
And
I
he
remember this. Yeah,
joke about like how he was with Bush, and he made like one little comment about them or whatever. But then he was like making jokes how he was working the phone lines with them, and I'm just like, okay, that's weird. Like,
Yeah.
what? Even in jest, that sounds strange. Why would you
Right.
work the phone lines for George W. Bush? That's odd. So I always found him that there was something chud about him,
Yeah.
and people were like push him as if he's this like leftist journalist, and I was like, bullshit. No, he wasn't. And I remember watching a couple episodes of him on. He had a show on Rolling Stone. They put out a podcast. It was called like Useful Idiots or
Oh
something.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
It's him and like Katie Harper. That woman's repulsive
Yeah.
too. All they do is just shit on like Democrats. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. But
Sure.
like if that's all you're doing
Yeah, I get
and
you
you're
might
not being
need
really constructive
right.
and you're pushing the same memes that the right is pushing about
Y-
people.
Yeah, you may want to reevaluate what you're doing and how you're doing it at that
Well, they're
point. And
clearly doing it on for a reason. I think they're fully aware. It's more like people who watch them need to reevaluate and realize, like, hey, these are bad faith actors.
yeah.
Actually, I mean, unless you just hate the Democrats,
Yeah.
that's on you. But if you're watching this thinking like you're watching these progressives, you're really not.
Yeah.
You're being tricked. Um, And so he's put out a bunch of crap over the years, and I don't know. I just never found this guy impressive. I always thought he was like overrated.
Yeah.
Uh, and then this is just ridiculous. This Twitter file thing, like this is like,
It just seems like a nothing burger. All these seem like nothing burgers.
and
I
it's just
mean,
odd that the owner of Twitter is the one who was like pushing this 100%.
yeah. It just seems weird. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know. It
It's just
seems
more.
weird.
It's just like a right wing bullshit gotcha thing that like you said, nothing burger. It's
Yeah.
like who cares? And it's like, and it's a preview of like the Republicans. Like, really, you're gonna run on Hunter Biden? No one
Yeah.
fucking cares about Hunter Biden because Joe Biden is smart enough to not have Hunter Biden go do like
He's not
foreign
negotiating Middle
affairs
East peace.
with right. He's not putting him in any positions
Yeah.
that affects or as far as we know affects us the American life. Like, so this is gonna hit them in the face. I'm sure Joe Biden's like, yes, please focus on my son,
Yeah, for sure. Right?
and I will make fun of you.
They'll look like
Like,
fools. They'll look like fools.
they
So
don't care. The right doesn't give a shit though, because you gotta realize we think they look like fools.
right, but
They
there's enough.
actually,
Yeah.
this is their base loves this shit.
Mm.
We think they're insane. They're
Right.
actually like they're the heroes in their story.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
Marjorie Green is a psychopath. Marjorie Green is also one of their biggest fundraisers in the
yeah.
GOP. That should say it all.
Yeah. That
His
should.
fucking nut job is basically the voice of the GOP.
And she's way out there. She's not like that far from the normal for the Republican Party, but she's way out there.
Well, she's just repulsive. She says repulsive things and spreads conspiracies and lies and is a bigot. She's an outright bigot.
Mm.
And that is one of the top donation drivers in that party right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
Ugh. Well,
um I don't know. I guess the Twitter. I mean, what do you think of Twitter lately?
I'll tell you, it's weird. My big problem is I still go on Twitter. I get a lot of my news from there, and I interact with some accounts, but like they really are pumping the paid $8 accounts, and so often I'll get to. It used to be that I'd go on to uh, a tweet by like a journalist or a writer or something, and the first several tweets after that, the first several answers or whatever would be like really kind of interesting, well developed things. And now I just get a lot of you libs or all the same, I mean, it's just like flooded with like just bullshit nonsense bot accounts. Most of them I'm pretty confident they're bots. But the other thing is and this is kind of weird, I still report I still report things, to Twitter moderation. And I've gotten a decent number of accounts like suspended or banned for doing like terrible things. So
I reported accounts that were pushing straight up anti-Semitism, and they came back with, we don't see anything wrong with it.
mm,
Like I'm talking like straight up anti-Semitism,
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
I
Without
can't even blatant,
mm,
and they've come back and been like, I don't
yeah.
know. They banned one guy recently, Jackson Hinkle, who's like one of these like fake leftists who's really a right winger guy.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
I don't know what he got kicked off, but he was suspended. They
Mm,
suspended my favorite stand-up comedian,
mm,
uh Kanye West.
yeah, yeah.
Dude, that guy is fucking funny. Like, I mean, I have watched a couple of his interviews that he had recently with Alex
Yeah.
Jones, Dan McGinnis, and that man, his delivery on like spreading anti-Semitism is hysterical. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
He's really
absolutely
elevated.
horrible, and I'm repulsed by it for many reasons. But like my favorite was he was on Alex Jones, and Alex Jones is like talking like he's trying to cut off and go to a commercial because like
Yeah.
all the insane anti-Semitic shit that Alex Jones said, not that Kanye was saying, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Alex Jones is like, well, let me tell you, Hitler was a bad guy, and then like as it's fading out, you just hear Kanye real quick as the camera fades by, I like Hitler. And it's like, it made me think of the I Like Turtles kid.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude,
Oh,
I did a Photoshop and Instagram pulled it down in my
oh,
stories.
jeez,
The
that's
I Like
funny.
Hitler thing. I took the kid and I put out Kanye's face on
Oh,
it.
jeez.
This is I Like Hitler. I was like, yeah, you fucking kidding me. I ended up just deleting it anyway. But
Yeah.
like, dude, that is the most his he is the most fucking insane person. His
Yeah.
shit he is saying is like just straight up
It
Nazi
really
shit.
is remarkable. I mean, and again, this doesn't
He's so bad
excuse
that
him.
Gavin McGinnis is like, hey, calm down with
Yeah. I think he
even
just
I,
has
Gavin McGinnis, who's a huge racist, homophobic anti-Semite.
I think Kanye probably feels these things. I think he probably does have these terrible tendencies about him, but I think a lot of his outgoing nature right now is probably something with a manic state or something. I would be
I
my
don't.
guess, but
I think he's a little too well spoken to be completely. I think he's just a hateful piece of shit. He's probably always had views about Jewish people
could
like
be.
this,
Yeah.
and it's just been accelerated. I've known some. I worked in some industries and stuff, and I've known some black dudes who kind of they don't say it outright with Kanye, but they believe some of that shit. They think
Yeah.
that Jews control the industries and
So
all that
weird.
stuff. I mean, they're right, but so I was watching Hassan Anavi. That's how I watched the Gavin McGinnis thing. And even Gavin McGinnis was like, yeah, Hollywood's like 80% owned
Yeah.
Jewish. And even Hassan's like, it doesn't even make any sense.
Right.
Because like Jewish people only take up like literally
Like
2% of the
3%?
population.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a small
barely.
number.
Right. And Hollywood, this is a huge thing. First of all, some of the most major Hollywood companies are not owned by Jews.
Right.
This bullshit. I can't stand that. And like I was like, and if that was the fucking case, you know what? Like Kanye was even making jokes. He was serious. He said that like he'll get killed or something. He's gonna get killed
Yeah,
off, or
yeah.
quote the Jews will kill him. Honestly, if he dies anytime soon, I'm fine with that. I'll be like, yeah, we killed
Yeah.
him. Maybe he shouldn't. He fucked around, found out. You know,
Well,
I mean, maybe you guys, maybe he was on something, and maybe he should have shut up. I mean,
yeah,
like
I think it's
I love these
unlikely that
like
anything will occur,
what?
but I think it's unlikely that anything will occur, but um
No, I mean, I think like people would say like he was gonna kill himself. I think he's too big of a narcissist to kill himself.
yeah.
Um, but he, I would say this: if the Jews controlled the media, like he says, or
Yeah.
control the mechanism, I don't think Kanye would exist anymore.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, now I'll get this out of the way. I am Jewish. My last name Rob Israel. Some people, it's funny. They realize like, wait, you're Jewish? I'm like, I mean,
I can see. I mean, like I don't know. I could see that as being like something
Oh,
people
I
would
thought you
say.
were last. You were just telling me you're like it's like a weird name, like Israel. Like
Oh yeah.
and I'm like, no, there's a biblical
Yeah.
name. Tell you. Uh, like the, yeah. I mean, I'm real. It's
Yeah.
true. I exist as far as I know. Tube right now, but like. The funny thing is like all the shit Kanye's saying. I've heard this shit my whole life from like
Yeah.
bigots,
It's
anti-Semites, and all the. I've heard this growing up. I knew
it's a
somebody.
greatest hits.
This is just, but it's just crazy. It's all coming out at once by this one.
By
This,
this one by this
but
one
what I
guy.
love, this
Oh,
guy is digging his own grave. I
yeah.
mean, look at this fucking loser. He went from being on like freaking the top
He
fashion
was
industry,
yeah.
hanging out with like the
Hanging out with
biggest
Kim
creative.
Kardashian and like anybody he wanted.
He's like respected in the industry,
Yeah.
even if they didn't like him. It's like like the South Park joke about the fish sticks and all that, whatever.
Yep.
I mean, like he was fucking huge, and now
Yeah.
he's hanging out with the fucking Nazi goblin,
Yeah.
going on fucking Alex Jones show, Tim Pool, Gavin McInnes. These are fucking creepy losers, man. Like, yeah, they have a huge audience, but guess what? Their audience are creepy, ghoulish
Yeah.
losers. Like, these are terrible people. And this guy is done. There's no way he can come back for this.
Oh yeah. I think he's done.
I mean, if he does come back from it, it'll be the first time in history. And then someone will say, "Well, he's not going to come back because because Jews wouldn't let him." And I'm like, "Well, that's
Mm.
pretty anti-Semitic what you're saying. How
Yeah.
about he can't come back from this because he is saying absolutely horrible things about people? You know,
Yeah.
like
No, that is yeah, that's kind of
like if somebody were to come out and say a bunch of really racist, outright racist
right.
shit, not dog whistles, racist shit about black people, they would not be coming back to their career. That goes with anything. Kanye is saying the fuck he's
Mm.
not using dog whistles. Like that was a funny thing.
Yeah.
He was on Alex Jones and McGinnis and all that, and they were trying to coach him to like use dog whistles, and he's just like, no, I hate the like they
Yeah.
control the world. They're just like, well, you're supposed to use words like globalist, and he's like, no, I'm not going to use those words. I'm literally
Yeah.
like this, and which it's actually kind of funny because it sheds like light on those shows. Like,
Right.
oh yeah, like he's
Oh,
just saying the quiet stuff out
out
loud.
loud.
I'm not saying that he serves a like thanks Kanye.
Right, right,
you're
right.
really you're really doing a service here. It's just like it's so fucking gross. But I think it's what's funny is he went on Tim Pool. I don't know. Did you watch any of that?
Mm.
What?
Oh no, I didn't. I haven't watched.
Have you watched any of those Alex Jones ones or McGinnis
Oh,
with
the
Kanye?
ones where he's yeah, yeah, but not the entire, just clips. Not
Like
like
you didn't see the one when he went on Tim Pool at all?
oh yeah, the one where Tim Pool he stormed off and Tim
Yeah.
Pool
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
That was
Yeah.
the first one, and I guess he was smart enough. He realized afterwards. Like it's just really funny because I'm wondering if he thinks in his head that if he wears a
A
mask
mask.
on these other shows, then maybe he could come back because he could say, "Well, I wasn't there. That wasn't me." Like he's
Yeah.
the unknown comedian from the Gong Show, or the Garbage
Well,
Pail.
I absolutely think Hollywood or the music industry would take him back. I think though that he's got to like put in the time. I
You
mean,
think they would take him back?
I do, I do. I wish they wouldn't. But
Yeah,
like,
fuck. Look at Mel Gibson. That's
yeah.
another
I
fucking
mean,
example. There's a guy who like put out a fucking movie that like blamed the
no,
Jews for like
yeah,
killing the Messiah or whatever, and then he went on an insane, sexist, racist, anti-Semitic tirade while he got
yep,
arrested.
yeah,
And he's still gets roles. He still
mm,
gets casted in things. Like, yeah, fine. He's not selling out like theaters, but who says that it's not it's not because of that, but because
yeah,
he's just an older actor and his time has kind of come anyway. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like that's probably more the case. Yeah, I don't know. Do you really think he could come back from this, Kanye? I
I
don't think
do. Just well, look at like you
like
said,
well,
Mel Gibson.
yeah, but Mel Gibson, even as bad as he was, never he didn't go. I mean, I don't know if you watched these clips or watched it. The
Yeah,
shit he is saying on McGinnis and Alex Jones, and these are fucking horrible people that he's going on. He's not going
yeah.
on like network TV, or he's not even going on like Sean Hannity or something. He's going on like these like
Mm.
dirtbag shows, and he is just saying like some of the most like just the kind of shit you would hear like at a Nazi rally.
Yeah.
I don't know. You really think he could come back from this? I mean, like
Not tomorrow, not the next day, but
not
yeah, I think
tomorrow.
like in a few years, if he laid low and then he made a strategic series of,
Oops,
after
oopsies.
many consultations with my psychiatrist and after this amount of treatment, and I've made
I paid
amends.
off one guy who claimed he was a rabbi. He says I'm okay.
Well, I just saying, like, I could see it happening.
It
I
wouldn't
don't.
shock you.
It wouldn't shock me. I guess that's probably a better way of putting it. I hope it doesn't happen. I don't think it'll happen, but I could definitely see it happening.
Morrissey came out today and said some real racist shit. I don't know if
Did
you
he?
heard that. I guess
No, I
Morrissey was
didn't.
like, "Oh, I want some attention. Let me say something." He said something about like race mixing or
Oh
something.
my God, really?
Are you shocked? I'm not. The guy was in the fascist party.
I read a big article, it was a little while ago, about they call it the death of the author. Have you heard that expression, or that article on Twitter? Um, it was saying basically, like, once an artist, they were talking about J.K. Rowling.
Yeah,
Once an artist or a writer releases something to the world, they in a lot of ways relinquish control over it, and so you can still enjoy those things without feeling like you're supporting that person. And it's kind of a weird argument because you are very literally supporting that person. You're giving them
I
money.
think Harry Potter is a different situation because of the movies and like it's like a universe in itself. But unlike a rapper or even a song like or like a rapper or a singer like Morrissey or Kanye, there's like a little bit more personal, especially as a rapper, where like 90% of rap is like all ego based. It
Yeah,
kind of is. It's all about the actual rapper. And I think there's no coming back for that. Morrissey's another interesting one, but again, he's like a performer and he's singing those songs that people love. But I feel like with Harry Potter, it can survive without the author. It is, I feel like a person who writes a book, unless it's like a personal tale, like
yeah.
she was Jack Kerouac or something, or fucking Hunter S. Thompson. She wrote some fucking young adult books that are about fucking magic wizard that again bites off other
There
shit from
and there's some
existing material.
separation there. Like
I think
when I
if
think of
you
Harry
want, you
Potter,
can go back and look at some of the like people have gone back and looked at some of the stuff in Harry Potter, and because of her recent
yeah,
bigotry to trans people and some other shit she said, that they look back and you start to insinuate and go, well, maybe she's a
yeah.
racist along, like those fucking
They named the
goblin
Asian character
people.
what? I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Like there's a lot of different like you start to go back and reevaluate things. Like there's this one
yeah,
character who's kind of trans, actually, one of the bad guys, and and if you read it, you're like, ew,
yeah.
like
Well,
you look at it under a new lens. But I think again, I think Harry Potter itself could survive without
well,
J.K. Rowling.
I think the difference is that when I think of Harry Potter, I don't immediately think of J.K. Rowling. I think of
Right,
Harry
you don't.
Potter, right?
Right.
Like, I think of Harry
But when
Potter,
anything Kanye produces, you think of Kanye.
and the same
That's
with
just a fact.
Morrissey. Morrissey sings songs from Morrissey's perspective, and Kanye
But
sings
what about the
songs.
other? What's the other group he was in? Morrissey? I
The
forgot. The
Smiths,
Smiths.
yeah.
Yeah, the Smiths survive without if you remove Morrissey from the. I mean,
Well,
yeah, the group's called literally called Morrissey. I mean, it's
yeah, the Smiths
fucking
are
name.
different. Like, Johnny Marr is just such a great guitarist and an innovative songwriter. Like, Johnny Marr did like an entire album with the Talking Heads.
Did you
He
hear what Johnny Marr's guitar said about?
well, Johnny Marr and Morrissey do not get along, specifically because of Morrissey's political views.
Oh,
Um,
really?
oh
So
yeah,
Johnny. Mars is the good guy in the
Yeah, oh
situation.
yeah, Johnny Marr is a great guy. He's actually like legitimately a great musician, great artist. He's pretty and a pretty admirable guy. I mean, he's like a good guy. Um, the Morrissey stuff, I don't know, he's just such like an oddball. Like I don't know. I mean, I read that article, the death of the author, and then years ago, Nick Cave had written a big essay specifically about Morrissey, about how like it's okay to still find meaning in these older songs while also saying like I don't like this guy, you know. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think there has to be a point though. There has to be a fucking
I
point.
do, but like
I disagree. If the person is saying outright things and you are still supporting it, you are not
I know,
you
but
are,
then you get into so many, like there's so many artists that are
there's other artists out there, dude. Like you don't move on. Find someone else better
yeah,
that
but like
doesn't, there's enough content out there that isn't being produced by fascists and racists and anti-Semites and bigots and homophobes. There's enough out there. So it's
oh yeah,
like,
look, I
like
know,
you
but
don't
that's
have
like saying, I mean, like I don't know of a single person that doesn't enjoy like some piece of pop culture produced by a shitty person,
I mean, look
you
at
know.
fucking Gary Glitter, that stupid ass song. It
Yeah,
still
there's
gets
another one. Yeah,
played. It still gets fucking
I know.
played. The guy's like an outright.
Yeah, I think too. There's a difference between like, um, I think there's a difference between liking a piece of music. I don't know, music's weird too because like music by a solo artist is weird, like Kanye or Morrissey, because they're presumably responsible for it. But like, am I supposed to never watch another movie starring James Woods again? Like,
I don't
that
think that's. I
seems.
think that's different. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think it's different. I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
that's
Now, if you're watching a movie where like James Wood was like the
the
main
producer
star,
and
and
director, and yeah,
it's a James Wood vehicle. I
right,
mean, unless the movie's amazing,
yeah. But
uh,
like, I
and
would,
you get lost in the character that he's playing.
yeah. But if I'm flipping
But
around and Mad Max Road Warrior is on, I'll watch it, even though like,
yeah, I don't think that see, it's weird. I think it's different, but like at the end of the day, Kanye's music is just Kanye. Like
yeah,
that's the product. Kanye is not starring in a movie where Kanye plays the road warrior in a
right.
made up universe
I
where you can
also
get lost in.
I
And
also think
so
there's a difference between like a solo artist saying, "Oh yeah, I'm a horrible person with racist views," and a solo artist saying, "I'm a horrible person with racist views, and I'm going to interfere with the election in Georgia." You know, I mean, I think that like, I think
well, I
there's
mean, Morrissey interfered in elections in England. I
no,
mean,
not really. I mean, like, not
I don't mean like in the same level. No,
yeah,
well, Kanye is.
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
gonna say that Kanye right now is probably worse than Morrissey. Morrissey's just a fucking asshole.
yeah,
What Kanye's doing is like beyond vile. That's why I don't think he could come back from this. It would be like I don't. It's like ridiculous because it's like Saturday Night Live just had him on like a couple of years
yeah,
ago, like, and he was wearing like a MAGA hat. Pete Davidson was making fun of him. It's actually pretty funny. Pete Davidson was saying in a couple episodes later in the season, he
yeah.
was talking about like Kanye. And this was like, and he said that like Kanye claimed that he couldn't wear his MAGA hat or something like that, and Pete Davidson like he wore it the entire fucking time we were rehearsing.
Yeah.
He's like, what is he talking about? That's all he did. Like it's like he's like, they wouldn't let me wear my hat. He's like, he wore it the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I mean, fuck. Donald Trump said a bunch of fucking racist shit right out the gate when he announced his
Yeah.
presidency, and then SNL had him on as a host like 3 months later in
Yeah.
2015, the end of 2015, before the primaries really started. I mean, what the fuck was that about? Like, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
But I think what Kanye, I mean, like to say, yeah, it's just as bad. I mean, Trump came out and said a whole group of people are a bunch of rapists and murderers and shit. And
Yeah.
Kanye is basically saying the same thing about Jewish people. Like,
I think Kanye's next level. I wish I could explain it better. I can't really explain it like in a way that's logically consistent. In my head, I look at Kanye and I'm like, gosh, he's so aggressively doing this, and this is all he's doing. He's not really making music right now.
and
He's
it's not
just
just, it's also who he's associating
yeah,
with too.
and he's
He's with Nick
associating
Fuentes, who's like a straight up Nazi.
yep, and he's trying to get involved in politics, and he's like, and all of that together to me is just like the worst possible example of this type of thing. And when I think of like, um, uh, so there's that on that level, and then there's like it's right now, it's happening right now, it's not stopping. So I don't know. I just in my head there's like a hierarchy of like unacceptable behavior, and I can tolerate art from some people who are unacceptable. Like I said, watching Mad Max Road Warrior, you know.
I just think that's different. More, he's
I do,
playing
yeah, I
a
do too. I mean,
character
I
in a
think it's different.
movie, and he's lost in the you get lost in the movie, and he's just one of the characters in the movie.
Plus, there's other people involved in the movie. There's like
Right.
co-stars and directors and the crafts people and there's like a whole bunch of shit. I don't want to
Uh,
like
this is the thing Morrissey said recently.
hmm,
OAN was showing it.
nice.
It had to do with the Great Reset, which is Nazi
Yep.
shit.
Yeah, I remember that.
OAN in let's Justin Baragona wrote, "Let's check in on indie rock legend Morrissey and see what he's up to now." OAN, Great Reset, indie music icon Morrissey, diversity is conformity. Says far left ideas erode unique national cultures. Pop music today is man. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
diversity is conformity is the most fucking dumbest thing I've
Yeah.
ever heard. This is
See, that
like
just
that
doesn't
shit
even seem
that
particularly deep. That just seems like
what?
that doesn't even seem particularly deep. That seems to me like this is maybe a bad example, but like John Lydon, like
Well,
when
John
he's
Lydon's ridiculous.
yeah, well, when he's like wearing a MAGA hat or whatever, I'm just like, I just can't take it too seriously. I can't get super
I
worked up
think John
over it.
Lydon's a clown. I don't think Morrissey's a clown. Morrissey's a serious person, so I
Yeah,
don't take John Lydon seriously. I take him
yeah,
seriously. John Lydon's just a provocateur.
yeah.
You know,
I don't, but that's, I
he's
guess,
still like he still thinks he's on like a British show in the 70s,
yeah.
holding out his finger to the he still thinks he's doing that. This guy has no humor. Like
That
Morrissey.
just, yeah, that just returns me to like,
I know you.
I,
I listen. I understand you like the guy. You just don't. You're
well,
taking
I
it.
mean, like everyone, and we all, I mean, if we're kind of looking at the pop culture we enjoy, I mean, like we all will listen, like Axl Rose. I listen to Guns N' Roses a
I
lot,
Yeah, but again,
and he
Axl Rose
was
is currently not saying those things, and if anything,
I know, but
he's
I'm
kind
just
of maybe like amended a little bit. You got to
oh
look at
no, Axl
also,
Rose is amended quite a bit. He's like a pretty stand-up guy now.
but
He's
you're right. He has said some horrible racist
yeah,
shit over the years. But again, it's like I always look at this thing. What did they do? What did they do then? And
yeah.
what are they doing now?
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
I'm just saying.
like
I mean,
they're now currently still pushing, and if not worse, that's no good. But
yeah.
if they're like,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
Eddie Murphy's a great example. He acknowledged of all the shitty things he said in the 80s, and he said
Mm,
it was wrong. And I think
yeah,
he apologized.
that
Unlike
is
Dave
true.
Chappelle, who's like, I'm an edgelord piece of shit, and I'm gonna say a bunch of like ridiculous
Yeah,
things. I mean, he was on SNL recently and he gave a monologue, and he fucking like
double
his
down.
monologue, he was making jokes that he's better at it and delivering jokes, and they're funny, but he was saying shit like Kanye. He said that Hollywood is controlled by the Jews.
Yeah,
He said all that shit on SNL
yeah.
recently. And I'm just like,
It is
I'm
weird.
watching it and I'm like, it's worse because he's good at orating and being funny. That's actually more deadly.
Oh
Kanye's
yeah,
just
yeah,
idiot. He's going out there. That's why like Alex Jones is like, oh, actually Hitler's really bad. And Kanye going like, I like Hitler.
yeah.
Slithering
Kanye
moron.
is actually more like John Lydon in that way, except John Lydon will wink while he says it, like, and
I
Kanye
just don't
won't.
take John Lydon seriously. I would say that John Wayne's not a serious person, but like I think what Kanye is doing is like 1,000 times
Yeah.
worse than John Wayne. But I said like Morrissey's bad because Morrissey's not funny.
Yeah. Well,
He's
he's
serious.
also like he's such a fringe character now. I mean,
Well,
this is
I
like
the impact that he has versus the impact of Kanye is totally different.
yeah. I mean,
Like,
Kanye is like this kind of global cross
but is he even like
genre.
even? I mean, at this point, like, what was his last hit? His
I
real
don't
hit,
know. I never
last
really
real
cared
hit,
for.
Poopy Stoopy, whatever that song was from a
I
couple
couldn't
years
tell
ago.
you.
Poopy
Um,
Doopy. Like, I mean, like, who gives a shit? Like, I think
but he
he's.
was culturally super important. He
We're
just
talking about
was.
him because he's reduced to saying outright bigoted Nazi shit. Like, that's what
Yeah.
we're talking about, and that's kind of, if you think about it, it's kind of pathetic on his part. You know, it's like that's what it's come to.
Well,
Stay relevant.
that
You
is
wore the
weird.
back of.
Like you always like I always, and I know this is kind of like just one little piece of it. I always kind of attribute racism in many cases to people being angry at their lot in life. You know what I mean? Like I could see like Morrissey, for example. I could see him saying racist things because he's angry that he was never really given the commercial success he probably deserved. So he's got this anger, and he looks at global music today, and he's like, all right, and it's like, oh wow,
Or
you
maybe these people
feel.
did. Not everyone likes you
Well,
because
I know.
you're
I'm just saying, like from his perspective, I'm like, that's where it comes from. It's like, oh, you're butthurt about something, and so
and
instead
you're a
of
prick too.
yeah, but like Kanye had it all. Kanye didn't need to feel he theoretically had it all. He was pretty well
He
respected
had all.
critically.
He had all. Even with the fucking MAGA hat,
Yeah.
he still had his contract with Adidas.
Oh yeah.
Everyone, and that was the other thing too. Dave Chappelle made it sound like Kanye came out and said this anti-Semitic shit, and then immediately Adidas dropped him. No, it didn't. It took
No, it's like
weeks.
yeah, we
It took
talked about that
weeks.
before.
Yeah, and I'm
I
sure
think
a lot
that
had to
may
do with
have been
contracts and shit,
yeah,
but
I think that may have been
don't lie and
procedural.
say it happened the next day. That's not what happened.
No, and I'm confident that Adidas tried to work something out with him if
They
he
were
would.
pressured
Yeah,
by every fucking group, by people just being
yeah,
like you are not going to sell the shoe anymore. Now, I honestly, but like I said, like you're right. He had everything. Even with, I mean, one day he just decided, like, I'm going to do this weird thing and I'm going to come out and support Trump. And this was a year, like this was months into Trump's presidency, where you had all the like the trans ban, the fucking
yeah,
the Muslim ban, all this racist shit, and then on top of Kanye saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna support Trump, but I'm also gonna go around and tell people that slavery was a choice for Black
yeah.
people," which
So
is the most
weird.
fucking stupidest thing. It's so insane. It's
Well,
so disgusting,
it's
and
just ignorant too. I mean, like it's
beyond it. It's disturbingly stupid because it's like we had a slave trade in this
come on. I
country that
mean, it's just anybody will
one of
tell
the
you that's
biggest
stupid.
slave trades in the country was in Georgia, actually. That's
Yeah.
another big reason why it's a big deal. Like
I mean,
that
if
the
you're
state's putting
making,
blue.
if you, yeah, I'm not even going to go there. I mean, like I'm saying, like you can make some sort of esoteric point about it being like, well, it's a mentality, you know, that you have to buy. I'm not even going to go down that road, but
It's
like
so
that's not
stupid,
the
though.
point he was making. Yeah.
It doesn't even matter. You say the context of slaves from the 1800s, and
Yeah. I mean,
to
it's
like it doesn't make any
no.
sense. Like you're see the problem is you have a slave like mind or something.
Right.
Like even then that's like what are you getting at? But if you're
Yeah.
gonna make comparisons to like people put in bondage against their will with their lives at stake,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not, no, that's really insane. So he says all that shit. You know, he has like a failed run for presidency, which you find out we all knew that he was kind of working with the Trump or administration. So it was truly a pathetic attempt to steal
Yeah.
the and it didn't work. And then you don't hear about for a while. Then one day he's like, I'm gonna go DEFCON 3 on the Jews, and you're like, what? And it's like, and that's here, and that's when he just totally insane. And like you said, he had everything.
Yeah.
I
See,
guess
that's
what
the
did he say? He's got the worst divorced middle-aged guy. Him
just so
and Elon are both the worst
yeah.
case of a divorced middle-aged guy.
Elon's another one, had everything. Why is he going after marginalized people? He had everything. So,
He still has everything.
yeah. Well,
I mean, him
he
losing 100 billion doesn't matter. He's still going to be a billionaire.
yeah.
It's like
Well,
it,
I could probably talk about this much longer, but we have one more topic.
oh
Uh
God. Well, this is the kind of shit. See what we're talking about, why it is scary when you have these high prolific figures saying straight up anti-Semitic shit or spreading conspiracies and lies and
yeah.
pushing transphobia or pushing homophobia. You get situations like this.
Yeah, that is
And
and that
that's
is real
why
true. I believe that.
what these monsters are, what they're doing in the public square, or whatever you want to call it, saying these fucking insane inflammatory things, it has a trickle down, a true, unlike Reagan, it has a true trickle down effect in the worst way possible.
Well, the thing we're talking about, and I'll give a brief version, is in Moore County, North Carolina. About 40,000 people have been without power for several days now, and it's not like 20 degrees, but it's cold. They have people they've had to evacuate that are on oxygen. They've had children in the babies in the neonatal ICU had to be airlifted out because they weren't getting the care they needed. There's been anecdotal incidents or reports of deaths. I haven't seen anything official. But what happened is they found that a couple electrical grid pieces, transformers, or some type of device that conveys electricity, were shot up with high-powered rifles. And a woman, a white Christian nationalist leader in the area, had been chatting about like the need to destroy infrastructure because they were going to do a drag show downtown or something.
They're going to do a drag show, so what do you do? You destroy the
Turn
power
out
supply
turn out the lights.
to how many people? 40,000 people?
40,000. Yeah.
You
And
and
the
hospitals and
yeah, the cop apparently is best friends with this Christian nationalist
nice.
who stormed the Capitol on January 6th.
Wow, it just keeps
And
getting better.
and he said that he didn't really feel a need to follow up on any leads because he prayed with her about it and that he trusted everything was going to be
All right.
fine.
Well, if I lived in that area, if I was the hospital, if I was any of those things, I would one have a lawsuit against that
Yeah.
cop. I would go after this lady. I mean, they're so this is so insane. This is the kind of
Well,
scary shit that we heard about. Everyone's like, what's the next January 6th going to be? Well, this
yeah,
is the next
it's
January
this.
6th.
Well, the FBI is investigating. The government has put out a big reward for information leading to the arrest of these people. I'll bet you it's something they solve pretty quickly. I'll bet you it is a couple MAGA chuds, and I'll bet you that they turn on their co-conspirators. Is what I hope.
And again, it's
Um,
totally insane because it's like, why is this happening? Because there's a drag show
yeah,
happening somewhere, and these people are they're so hateful against it and so scared and paranoid and insane about it because of the shit that they
yeah,
see on right-wing media, right-wing personalities,
yep,
Facebook, the internet. I mean, that is bad shit. I mean,
it
and
is.
that's fucking crazy. I'm gonna blow up the power line. Why? Is it because you lost your job? No. Is it because the factory shut down? No. Is it because you don't
Yeah,
like whatever is going on? No. What was it? Oh, there's a drag show 2 miles down the neighboring, and
that's
they're gonna rape all the kids, and they're like, "What? These
yeah,
people are fucking nuts."
it is crazy. Um, I don't know what to say about it. I don't want to say too much about it because we don't know what happened yet. Um, I have a good idea of what probably happened, but hopefully when we meet again next week and talk about it, we can talk about the arrest of whoever
Did
did this.
they fix the
No,
power at
they're
all?
still working on it. It was like
Oh my!
completely destroyed. They're still trying to figure out.
I mean, this is fucking domestic terrorism.
I heard this
What?
morning that they had restored power to 2,000 of the 40,000 people.
That's nothing.
It's such a small percentage.
I would like. I mean, you know what's so crazy? It's like after 9/11. Let me tell you, when 9/11 happened, first thing that popped in my head that morning was I thought it was right wing terrorism.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, holy shit. I did not think it was
No.
Muslims or whatever boogeyman the right wanted to create or people wanted to create. I really thought that. I was like, holy shit. Because you heard about like these fucking militias for years and like these people are just nuts
Right.
and they don't like where the country's going. And it's just, again, it's like we were told after 9/11, early 2000s that like we got ductator windows,
Yeah.
the Al Qaeda's, ISIS, all this stuff. And it's like, well, that's not the problem.
Yeah.
It's here. It's been brewing and fermenting for decades, and it's being accelerated by bigots out in the mainstream, in the media and
Yeah.
stuff. And it's like, it's scary shit.
It
It's
is.
truly scary. It's like, okay, bring this up real quick. I saw an update. The nightclub shooting that happened in
Oh yeah,
Colorado
yeah.
Springs, the one that was again at a
Yep.
gay nightclub.
Yeah.
So again, another terrorist attack. This guy shot it up. The lawyers tried pulling some shit saying that he was a they them or something.
I remember. Yeah, yeah.
No, that was already proven false.
Yeah.
He doesn't go by that. He never has. He's a fucking bigot. Like,
well, I hope
not that would have made it better, but it was like disgust. It was like just like what is going on here? It's like a weird trolling. It's like you got this guy coming here killing people, and then it's like with these shitty lawyers, like, yeah, he goes by they them or
so stupid.
Bullshit.
Well, hopefully the next time we meet, we'll have an update about this. And
I hope so. I always feel like sometimes these things happen and then you never find anything.
Never find out. Yeah. I got a better feeling about this one, but it's hard to say. We'll see. So
yeah,
a cheery one to end on. Cheery one.
Well, I mean, like, talk about these like public figures and shit, and people are like, "Oh, big deal. It doesn't matter." It's like it does fucking matter.
It matters.
It becomes mainstream. Like that's why I said it's like the shit Kanye says or whatever. Like he's saying something that is so vile and disgusting that's normally just said in like shitty chat rooms and underground Nazi shit, and he's bringing it's bubbling up out of the surface. You're telling me like we already had that fucking temple that temple shooting years ago?
Yeah,
which was brought on by Gab and all that shit.
Yeah,
you're telling me that nothing else is going to come out of it? Oh, real quick before we wrap this up, one of my favorite things was, do you remember like the House Judiciary GOP Twitter had like it was like
Kanye,
Elon, and then like they went back and deleted it, and everyone's like,
yeah,
we know you, buddy.
Right.
Yeah, they're all trying to like distance themselves a bit from him, but
they went big on Kanye briefly. They went big
briefly, like for years.
Well, I mean, recently they went real big on him. You're right, they have. But
they're like, oh, this is a little too much. You went full, it's like that. What was it?
Oh God, yeah. The Tropic Thunder,
Tropic Thunder. Yeah, you went full Nazi.
Yeah, never go full Nazi.
Never go full Nazi.
Oh, you can never go full Nazi. Kanye went full Nazi.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that ended on a great note.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, there's some like updates to some of this shit next week.
I hope so.
I feel like this. I don't follow like mainstream news anymore. I don't go on like much cable news. I don't know much coverage this thing in was it South Carolina?
North Carolina.
I don't feel like it's getting that much coverage as it should.
I don't watch a lot of national news anymore. I think it's getting decent coverage, but I'd have to look. I'll bet you it gets a lot of coverage if they make an arrest.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see then.
This is scary shit, dude. This is the kind of nightmare scenario stuff you would hear about again in the early 2000s. They talk about terrorists like
Oklahoma City bombing. Yeah.
I mean, fuck. This is like no, but I'm talking about the stuff they would make about foreign terrorism. It's like
yeah.
Hey, fuck. This is like freaking the Riddler poisoning the water supply in Gotham.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like ridiculous, except this is happening in real life. That's insane. Oh, we're gonna prevent that drag show from happening. Oh yeah, what do you want to do? You want to like go out there and protest? No, that's for babies. I have an idea. We're gonna blow up the power station.
Shut the town down for 2 months in the middle of winter.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, the fucking S gets free. I mean, North Carolina gets cold.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck? Oh my god. We're gonna ruin everyone's Christmas and then blame it on the drag show.
Yeah.
Well, like there was a drag show. Like, what? Who cares? My fridge is out. All my food's gone.
Right. I can't refrigerate my insulin. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
I guess if it's cold, you can like. But anyway, the point remains.
Right. Yeah.
But,
thankfully, the house is freezing.
Right.
So gotta look. When you got lemons, you gotta make lemonade.
All right.
Gotta look at the positives. I can't feel my fingers, and my nose turned black.
God. All right.
I can't handle it. But yeah, you're right. It's like right for the holidays, too. It's so.
Yeah.
It's huge. Some people probably are not going to have power for weeks.
That's the true war on Christmas. It's the true.
Right.
Oh, all right.
We're so dumb. I can't. I'm sorry. Has the right come out yet and blamed Antifa for it?
Not that I've seen. Not that I've seen. I'll have to look more about it.
I love this sheriff though. Oh, I prayed.
God.
I prayed for this. So it's A-okay. And then he holds that white power.
Yeah, right.
He does that. All right. Well, on that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that?
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.